Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, please allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Vanessa and I. I am currently the proud author of 2 tarot decks and of course your favorite psychic on YouTube. As you already know, today's pick a card reading is all about the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now. That's right, my beautiful unicorn family. This video is going to reveal absolutely everything that you need to know. And we're going to do so in a highly personalized fashion. So during the first part of this prediction, you get to pick from these 4 groups that you can see right here. I will introduce you to these 4 groups momentarily, so just hold tight for that. Furthermore, once you have received the first part of all the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now, you get to scroll back down into the description box where I have prepared 11 more timestamps for you. And these timestamps correspond to your karma number. So what you're going to do is click your karma number and you'll be fast forwarded to the second and even more personalized part of this prediction where you will learn of the remaining fated messages that were kept hidden from you until you click that timestamp. And if you don't know your karma number, don't panic. I just uploaded a video onto my channel where I explain to you exactly how you can find your personal karma number. This is one of the many numbers within your personal numerology chart, and it's great to know this number as it reveals exactly what you were born to master in this lifetime. So make sure that you don't miss out on receiving the second and even more personalized part of your prediction by utilizing the timestamp for your karma number. So now that you know how this video works, I will be introducing you to the 4 groups that I have prepared for you. And if you love my channel and my vibe and you feel comfortable here, make sure that you don't forget to hit that subscribe button before we move into your readings. That way you'll never miss another one of my predictions and you can stay up to date on what the universe wants you to know. Group number 1 corresponds to the messages from your animal spirit guides oracle cards as well as the Aquamarine and the following sound. Group number 2 corresponds to the Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians oracle cards, the Amber, as well as the following sound. Group number 3 corresponds to the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, the Rose Quartz Crystal, as well as the following sound. And group number 4 corresponds to the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck, as well as the Kyanite and the following sound. But as you already know, the timestamps can be found down below in the description box as well as pinned to the top of the comment section. That way all you need to do is click your timestamp and you'll be fast forwarded to the relevant portion of this video. So before we get into the readings, I would like to provide you with a little moment of privacy so you can meditate on the cards if you need to. Feel free to pause the video right here or simply hold tight for a few seconds before we get into your predictions. So by now, you've hopefully been able to select one of these 4 groups. As already mentioned, the karma number explanation video is linked in the description box, so feel free to watch that after you've received the first part of your reading. So now I will be getting into the reading, starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the messages from your Animal Spirit Guides Oracle deck, as well as the Aquamarine Crystal. So if this is the group that you chose, then please continue watching. And to all of my other beautiful groups, as well as karma numbers, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. You chose the messages from your Animal Spirit Guides Oracle deck, as well as the Aquamarine Crystal. Let's first do a little close-up of the crystal of your choice. This is the beautiful Aquamarine. The Aquamarine comes in hues of blue, as well as different shades of light green, and this is a very soothing and calming stone, which may be exactly why you felt drawn to it. But now let's move into your reading so we can reveal all of the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now, group number one. Oh, I'm so excited to figure out exactly what's going on for you and what messages that we're able to reveal. We've got the mountain goat, the polar bear, oh, and another card that's hiding right beneath, the boar. So let's get into it. In the boar, also known as the pig, I can see here that you're being called to face your problems head on with confidence and courage, and you will emerge victoriously. So part of the faded messages that were kept hidden from you is just how much you can accomplish by being confident. You're most likely not making enough use of your confidence, as well as the fact that you have a lot more courage in you than you give yourself credit for. And part of these faded messages that were kept hidden from you may have been to protect you, because some people don't like when we're too confident around them. Think, for example, coworkers or a boss or a family member that easily feels threatened. So it's not always the right situation to put your confidence out there, especially if there is a power imbalance. But I can see here that this message is finally being revealed, because it's time for you to step out of other people's shadows and to not worry so much about how another person will take your shine and your confidence, group number one. Next up, we've got the polar bear. Let's see what the polar bear has to say. In the polar bear, you need to stand up for yourself and speak your truth respectfully and compassionately, with no attachment to outcome. We definitely spoke about that here within the boar already, and this is like the confirmation that you need to focus on living your best life, on shining, on putting yourself out there, on facing any issues that you have head on without worrying about how someone else may feel about it, and for the first time being quote unquote selfish and worrying about how you will feel about it, group number one. That's what really matters here. I can see within the mountain goat that we have a message of something being out of balance in your life, and you need to do whatever you got to do in order to correct it. Because after all, these messages are all about the faded information that was kept hidden from you until now. And I see that this newfound confidence, as well as inspiration to do whatever needs to be done to live your best life, is definitely something that had to be revealed right now, because it's your time, group number one. It's not anyone else's time to shine. It's finally yours, okay? Take a little mental note, or a literal physical note of this, just to manifest it, because when you write things down, you definitely internalize it a lot more. And sometimes scripting your life and your level of confidence can actually help transform your confidence in day-to-day situations. Let's move further into your reading. Next up, we've got the dog. Your loyalty and faithfulness is misplaced by serving too many masters. Now, if that isn't the truth, group number one, we've been talking about you serving others. We've been talking about the fact that it's finally time for you to serve yourself and to not feel bad about it, because there is no reason to feel bad about it. You've been selfless for a very long time, group number one, and now you are finally being called to put yourself at the focal point, to make yourself the center of attention, and to give yourself all of the things that you've always dreamt of, whether it be time to finally go to therapy, to get beauty treatments, to travel, to wear the most eccentric things you've always wanted to wear, or to step things up in your career and finally tell coworkers or your boss how you truly feel about an upcoming project and what needs to be done. Stand in your truth, speak up for yourself, do so respectfully and compassionately, as the polar bear is telling you to do, but don't be afraid about other people's opinions when it comes to your truth. We've got the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is definitely someone who inspires you to be kind, to be caring. The Suit of Cups corresponds to the element of water, and the element of water is the element of your inner being, of your emotions, of your internal realm. And I can see here in the Knight of Cups and the Mountain Goat that you're severely affected by things being out of balance in your life. You can feel it. You can feel when you finally need to step things up for yourself, or when you've been confining your feelings for too long just in order to make other people feel comfortable. It affects you both physically as well as mentally, group number one. And this needs to come to an end, as I can see that these messages are being revealed to you now so you can empower yourself, because you've learned some of the lessons that you needed to learn to get to this stage. And now it's time to switch up the pace and do something differently. I see within the Four of Wands that you've been complacent for longer than you need to, and now it's finally time to bring in some movement. The Four of Wands in connectivity to the Knight of Cups does show me here that the more you allow for yourself to hold feelings in an internalized space, the more that actually creates pressure, and the less you actually are able to thrive creatively, because you're holding so much energy in a confined space, in a little box almost. And it's like you have to finally set yourself free, group number one. I see here within the Knave of Coins that will also teach you a lot about business, and maybe also kind of how the game goes. As you may have heard in the past or been part of in the past, when it comes to workplace politics, that is a game that not everybody wants to play. Trust me, group number one, there's a reason why I'm a YouTuber and not working in a space where I have to play those games. Of course, I have other games that I need to play, such as the algorithm game, if you will, but I would take that any day over having to deal with situations at work where I can't speak my truth. And that's where I see here in the Knave of Coins that there's a bit of a situation of friction. And it's almost like you feel things have changed and switched up, and that is something that you are no longer tolerating. You're not tolerating people low-key oppressing you or others, or not promoting other people just because of their cultural background, or just because of their sensual and romantic preferences. I see here in the Knave of Coins that you're trying to turn a new leaf, and you're trying to be part of a new generation that doesn't have all of these conservative approaches to life and business. The Seven of Swords shows me that it's important for you to be very careful. This is a hidden message that had to be revealed. There's a reason why you're here, group number one, and someone is most likely going to backstab you when you do this. So think of you being in a work environment. We talked about playing the game, right, at work, and the Seven of Swords speaks of betrayal. It speaks of someone not telling the truth. So do know here that when it comes to the workplace, someone may say that they will march in there and stand up for what's right with you, but you may actually find yourself alone. So group one, this is an amazing warning sign. This is an amazing early warning for you to receive, right? Because it hasn't transpired yet. So you're still able to change your approach. So if you had a plan at work, for example, or maybe even with a family member, to stand up for a cause, and you weren't 100% sure if this person is on board, let me tell you here in the Seven of Swords, don't put your neck on the line for someone else at this point in time. There's a reason why this hidden message is being revealed to you now. There's a reason why this is a fated message for you, group number one, and that's because the universe is looking out for you and is trying to tell you to be cautious about who you sacrifice your name for, or who you put your neck out for, so to say. Next up, we've got remembrance. I can see here in remembrance that it's important for you to remember to allow the resurfacing of past feelings and emotions, because this is most likely not the first time that you've tried to do what's right, or you've tried to stand up for someone who wouldn't do the same in return, group number one. Remember what that felt like. Remember how you felt leading up to it, and learn to read your intuition, the energy and the vibes around people and situations, because if there's one thing that doesn't lie, that's energy, group number one. And when you learn to read different energies and different situations, you don't even have to step into difficulties. You just know not to even touch that before you get too close, before the moment comes where you may commit to something that you will regret later down the line. Next up, we've got the dream. And the dream, I can see something being revealed, insight, a breakthrough. That's what this entire reading is about, of course, but there is a little more detail here that we're about to find out, group number one, and I don't want to keep you from it. So we'll move into this with my Pastel Journey tarot deck, the second tarot deck that I authored, and this deck has been so insightful in so many different readings. It just has a very different type of energy than any other deck, I must say. We've got the World. Okay, the World is one of the most favorable cards, group number 1. And I can see here within the dream that you're going to come to this realization that, wow, you actually have everything at your feet. The world is truly your oyster. You're going to find that there are so many different opportunities that you maybe never took all that seriously. But now all of a sudden, group number 1, oh, you know exactly where to go next, and you know exactly where you're celebrated, and that's where you're going. You're not staying where people are criticizing you or where people are kind of like closing their eyes every time you walk by and making you feel as though they are uncomfortable to be around you. No, you're going where you've got the world at your feet, where you have endless possibilities and where people want to see you win. I can see within the King of Wands that this also has to do with this person who is inspiring you. The King of Wands is basically the King of Fire. As you may or may not know, the suit of Wands corresponds to the element of fire, and the element of fire entails those signs of Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius especially. So the King of Wands is someone who is pretty mature. They know what they're doing. They're very confident, dare I say even a little cocky and bossy at times, group number 1, but don't tell them I said that. And I can see that they are a true inspiration for you to find your comfortable place, to find your safe space, and also to dare to leave a job or study situation where you don't feel welcome. And not just because you're the first one in the space, right, group number 1? So I am all about you getting uncomfortable and being the first person in the space. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've never seen, for example, DHL, who ships my company's packages worldwide, I've never seen them do a case study on a young female entrepreneur of color in Switzerland. So I'm sure there I'm part of the pioneers, and of course it's uncomfortable to enter a room where you're a minority, so don't take it as you not entering uncomfortable spaces. But remind yourself here, group number 1, there is no point in trying to impress people who have already set their mind to disagreeing with you, or who already have their minds so made up that they're just laying more and more stones in the way for you, and you can tell that your ideas and everything that you have is just falling on deaf ears. There are enough other doors that are already unlocked that you simply need to open and walk through. Don't try to meddle too much with those doors where there are missing keys, if you know what I mean, group number 1. Next up, we've got the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is actually one of the most favorable cards as well, I'd say right after the World card. So the fact that you received these 2 cards is very meaningful, group number 1. It shows that these faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now, these are very positive messages. The 9 of Cups is about you having lots of different opportunities. It's almost as though you just need to push and choose whichever one it is that you desire and you want. The 9 of Cups is frequently referred to in the tarot as the wish card, because it is almost like this little genie in a bottle notion where you can wish for something and it's most likely going to come true. So see this as a sign that this was kept hidden from you until now because you may have not dreamt big enough in the past, and now it's finally time for you to dream of something really big and for it to actually come true. And that's just a start, group number 1, because once you've made something seemingly big come true, you know that sky's the limit for you, right? The world's your oyster, like we spoke about in the World card. I can see here within the 3 of Swords, however, that there is definitely more information that needs to be revealed. The 3 of Swords shows a scenario that is a little bit difficult, right? Where there may be some heartache, where you're being called to be prepared by your guides through these faded messages for what is to come next. But this is only the first part of your prediction, group number 1. So make sure that you scroll down into the description box, figure out your karma number, then click that timestamp and allow for the second part of your prediction in this video to reveal what's coming here in the 3 of Swords, what you need to know about. So I do hope that you enjoyed part 1 of your prediction. Feel free to let me know down below in the comment section, but now it's definitely time for you to access part 2 of your reading. reading. So don't forget, if you don't know your karma number, I have the link to the video where I explain to you how to find your karma number down below in the description box. I promise it is super easy. Open up a fresh tab, figure out your karma number, and come right back here for part 2 of these faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians Oracle cards as well as the Amber in order to help figure out what faded messages were kept hidden from you until now. Let's first do a little close-up of the crystal of your choice. This is the beautiful Amber, group number 2. It's actually a piece of fossilized tree resin that has lots of great uses. I actually use amber collars on my dogs in the summer to keep ticks away, and it's just overall a very medicinal type of stone. Let's move into your reading in order to figure out exactly what's been kept hidden from you until now, group number 2. I'm so excited to reveal these messages. I hope that you're in a reclined position as much as you can, or just in a relaxed state of mind so we can vibe with one another. Let's get into it. First up, we've got Cane. Oh, Cane is one of my favorite cards of this deck. In Cane, I can see here some life force energy that you have coming towards you. So if you've been feeling low or you've been feeling fatigued and tired, do know here within Cane that you've got more energy coming towards you, and that in Dryad, we've got you needing to protect your energy. So part of the information that needs to be revealed to you is that you cannot play games with your energy anymore, group number 2. You've been playing with your energy for too long, and it needs to stop now. This message needs to be revealed to you now, because you have definitely learned your lesson. You're at a point where you have sacrificed your energy many times over for people who maybe have not done the same in return, or haven't even come to this point of recognition of how much effort you actually put into helping them or making things right for them. So it's definitely time for you to turn inward and ask yourself how you can protect your energy, how you can set boundaries in order to make sure that you're keeping your life force in a space where you can utilize it as well, where you're not just instantly already giving it to another person. Of course, this isn't always easy, especially if you're caring for someone who is elderly or a child, or for example, pets that are dependent on you. But even then, there is a way to set healthy boundaries to avoid from burning out, group number 2. Next up, we've got Apollo. In Apollo, it is very clear that you've got some divine messages prepared for you right here. And this is a sign from the universe and your spirit guides that they're here. They're with you in this reading, and they have more that they want to reveal to you, more hidden messages that they want to uncover, and for you to remember that everything happens for a reason. You clicking on this video instead of another video, it happened for a specific reason, and we will get into more detail about what those reasons are. Next up, we've got Nemetona. So Nemetona, know here that there is a safe space for you where you can protect your energy. And that safe space could be in nature, but I can definitely see here that protecting your energy and creating a safe space, this is something that goes hand in hand. So you're going to want to create a space in which you feel strong. And it is important for you to ensure that your home resembles that, and also potentially your workplace. Anywhere where you spend a lot of time, group number 2, make sure that that space feels safe. If you got clutter everywhere, if you have a lot of unopened letters or bills that you need to pay, just get it done with, get it dealt with. Even if you can't pay everything right now, or if you run into some sort of trouble, just call up the company or whatever place that it is. Start a payment plan so you can get it off of your mind. These things don't need to live in your head or in your space rent-free, especially when you're being called to create a safe space in order for you to protect your energy further. Next up, we've got the Mermaid of Lemuria. The Mermaid of Lemuria shows me a lot of joy coming towards your life. Joy as well as life force. These things go hand in hand, group number 2. So do know here that the more you protect your energy and the more you find that safe space where you can just be yourself and be comfortable, the more you will actually find that you've got more energy at the end of the day. You can accomplish so much more, which means that you're less stressed out and life is is just overall filled with so much more joy and happiness. I can see here within Sedna not to worry, that there is always a way, there's always a solution to any issues that you may be facing or going through. As already mentioned earlier, you may have, for example, bills that you need to pay, or just challenges in your life that you don't know how to overcome, like the next business project and how to execute that in a successful manner. Do know here within Sedna that there are more than enough resources to help you do just that, and there is always more than enough opportunity out there for you to be victorious. It's just a matter of you finding those opportunities and also not giving up. Your mindset is very important, and there is a card that popped right out of this Prism Oracle deck, which is one of my favorite decks right now. I gotta be honest with you, group number 2, and it's the Fear card. We were just talking about you needing to believe that there is enough opportunity out there, that there is just always enough out here, regardless of what it is, right? Whether it's time, money, talented people, colleagues, ideas, innovation, energy. There is enough, but I do see here within fear that it's important for you to confront irrational fears that you may have, or maybe even fears that seem rational, right? And ask yourself why that is, why you feel as though you may never have enough money to live comfortably, why it is that you feel like you may always have to deal with fatigue, like maybe that's just what your life is destined to feel like. Ask yourself why these fears are here and how you can lift them, how you can deal with these fears head on, and how you can create a life of feeling like there's more possibility rather than worrying that your time has come and gone and that you just have to put up with whatever life gives you right now. There is always some sort of movement that you can partake in, group 2. Now, movement has everything to do with the faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now. You have to get moving in order to get rid of these fears. I can see that your fears most likely have a lot to do with stagnant energy, as we did have the movement card show up in connectivity to the fear card right thereafter. So your fears stem from a place of not taking action. It's like the more you wait in a spot where you're complacent, where you're not taking action, moving forward, or making decisions, the more you build up your fears in your head. So your fears may start off really small, like a little mouse, and end up being seemingly as big as an elephant, or feeling as big as an entire elephant, if you know what I mean, group number 2. So that is where movement comes into place, and that is basically the cure for your fear. Let's move further into your reading to figure out more pieces of information that must be revealed to you. We've got comfort as well as peace. So creating a comfortable space will create a lot of peace for you, especially if you're someone who can be impulsive, who maybe struggles to find a middle ground between anxiety and excitement, or feeling calm and feeling stressed out. If you just go from 1 to 100, if you just go from 0 to 60 real quick, group number 2, this is for you. This is a sign that it's important for you to protect your energy and to create a safe container with the people who you are surrounded by, as well as your living quarters. Because the more you know that you have a space you can come to that always feels safe, that always feels like you are protected in it, the more you will actually be able to regulate your emotions. That's something that can be tough, especially if you've been through a lot of trauma. Childhood trauma can make it hard for survivors to self-regulate or just regulate their emotions, period, which is why a lot of survivors of trauma can struggle with anxiety, can struggle with different disorders, with panic attacks, depression, with outbursts of emotion. But do know here that if you just create a constant for yourself, that can give you that extra bit of safety that you never had, that you were never able to experience, that you didn't have the privilege to fall back on. Just because it maybe was not provided for you by others doesn't mean that you can't provide that for yourself, group number 2. But let's move further into your reading so we can figure out more details that need to be revealed to you right now. Next up, we've got the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life shows me here fertility, creativity, destiny, as well as magical blessings. Don't freak out, group number 2. Fertility is only one of these. I know not everybody is interested in fertility per se, but do know that whenever a card shows up that has to do with fertility, it immediately also has to do with creativity, the conception of new ideas, of innovative approaches to life and business, and to also following your destiny and finding magical blessings along the way. The more that you feed into your creativity, the more you will find that things are actually happening in your life that are meant to happen, that feel right. Because guess what? You're feeding into something that is naturally you, right? That is coming from your inner world, that you are creating from nothing, that is really your own property, these creative ideas, and your own property will always be the healthiest thing for you to pursue and for you to live with. Next up, we've got purification, brackets, water. So the element of water is the element that entails your emotional realm. So that is why purification is all about emotional cleansing as well as rejuvenation. Water is an excellent medium for you to purify yourself in. So cleansing doesn't have to be this big ritual or take time at all, group number 2. You can cleanse yourself every single day, and maybe you already do cleanse yourself every single day by, for example, taking a shower. Also laying in a bath and infusing that with some Epsom salts. That can be not only very relaxing for your muscles and very healthy for your joints, but another way for you to energetically and spiritually cleanse yourself from any energies that you may have picked up during the day and just throughout having to deal with other people. It's very important that you keep your energy clean, group number 2, and that you don't carry other people's stale, stagnant energy around with you, because that will prohibit you from movement, and that will further make sure that your life force energy is divided up by more people than it really needs to be. So distance yourself from other people's emotions by regularly cleansing, and doing so very mindfully. Do know here within Moonlight that you don't have to invest a lot of money into these cleansing practices. Like I already mentioned to you, you most likely have access to a shower or a body of water if you are watching this video, so use that to cleanse yourself. Do so during a full moon, for example, or a new moon, when you feel as though you have a strong connection to the moon. It's not the full moon for all of us. For some of us, it's the new moon. And I do want you to know here in Moonlight that there's also this notion of romance, of the potential for new romance coming into your life. Last but not least, we've got evolution. Group number 2, evolution is all about transformation. And part of these fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now definitely has to do with your personal evolution, as well as some changes on planet Earth, such as climate change, for example, and other changes that we are still going to get into. We're still going to get into the evolution of you, the evolution of your surroundings, group number 2. So do know that this is just the first part of your prediction. We still have the second part of your reading ready for you, which is based on your karma number. So in order to figure out more about your evolution, more about these fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now, scroll down into the description box or to the top of the comment section. Click your karma number and you'll be fast forwarded to the relevant part of this video. If you don't know what your karma number is, as already mentioned, I have a video linked in the description box where I explain to you in one easy step how to find your karma number. It's super simple, I promise. So make sure that you check that out if you're unaware of your karma number, and then come back to receive the second part of your prediction. So I'll catch you over during part 2. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Gentle Heart Tarot deck in connectivity to the rose quartz crystal. Let's first do a little close-up of the stone of your choice. This is the beautiful rose quartz. The rose quartz is a stone of love as well as friendship, and it is definitely a stone that brings you a lot of romantic vibes. So group number 3, let's move into your reading with the Gentle Heart Tarot deck. For all of you who didn't know, because I didn't want to reveal this during the intro, this is the very first tarot deck that I authored and published. So let's move into it. This is, of course, a deck that I'm absolutely in love with, and I truly hope that these messages resonate with you. So let's reveal what must be revealed for you, group number 3. We've got the 7 of Cups, the Emperor, the 8 of Diamonds, as well as the Temperance card. Oh, this is starting off in a really juicy way. I can see here within the 7 of Cups that this is a person you can choose to be with if you want to, romantically speaking. The 7 of Cups is a suit of emotions, and the 7 of Cups also means that you have options. The Emperor is just one of many options, but the Emperor is definitely a good option for you, group number 3, especially if you're single, because the Emperor is someone who has their life together. They're someone in a position of authority. They're someone who is successful, they're looked up to, and they're most likely also a little bit older than you, if that's something that you like. Furthermore, the Emperor can be a little much to handle at times, right? Because they're used to people kind of being at their beck and call and listening to them. So when you have your own opinion and you stand up to them, that is definitely something where you may butt heads, but that's normal, that's healthy. In any relationship, there will be some back and forths, and I do want you to know here within the Emperor that this is someone who has strong opinions, and it's nice to have that within a relationship because it allows for two people to agree to disagree and to keep their own identity. So on one hand, you can be one with this person, but on the other hand, you will also stay two individuals. You're not going to just melt into this ball of we. I can see here within the 8 of Diamonds that when it comes to your career, you're constantly working on that, and I want you to know here within the Emperor that they are doing the same. So by no means are you slowing down, no matter how interesting your love life may get, or no matter who you end up with, group number 3. I do want you to know here that some of the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now are definitely some messages of you continuing to grow financially and professionally. And I see here within the Temperance card that giving yourself breaks is important, as there's definitely this risk of burning out or doing a little bit too much, being a little bit too into your work to the point where it's almost like a competition. It's almost like you want to be ahead of everyone. You want to be ahead of everyone in your family, in your friend circle, maybe even ahead of your romantic partner. And that's where it's important for you to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Is it truly because you want to be successful, or have you developed a little ulterior motive while you were working so hard to get to that next place? So be very honest with yourself, group number 3. Sometimes fated messages need to show up in order for you to almost like hold a mirror up to yourself and ask yourself why you're doing certain things and if it's really the healthiest thing for you to be doing. Next up, we've got the King of Crystals. Now, group number 3 in the King of Crystals, I can see another option. As I mentioned to you here within the 7 of Cups, there are many options for you, romantically speaking. Even if you are in a relationship, it's always good to have more options, right? You never know what may happen to a partner that you're with right now. I do want you to know here in the King of Crystals that this is someone who has strong earth sign energy. So Virgo, Capricorn, and also Taurus energy. This is someone who is very similar to the Emperor. They are almost like the same person. They could be twins. Okay, so this could definitely be a description of just one person who's showing up big and heavy within your life, group number 3, but these may also be two people who are very similar, so that makes it very hard for you to choose who to go with and who to be with. I do recommend for you, group number 3, if you are currently in a relationship and the King of Crystals comes into your life, but you already have a main character here, as we have the Emperor, which is part of the major arcana, whereas the King of Crystals is part of the minor arcana in the tarot, which has a little bit of a smaller role, plays a smaller role than the Emperor. So if you are in a relationship, your person is the Emperor in your life because they play a larger role. So I would definitely recommend that you stay with your Emperor even if the King of Crystals comes into your life. And this is just a representation of their energy and who they are as a person, not their gender, group number 3, because my readings are all inclusive. This is just a representation of your person. They may be female, they may have a completely different look physically. So, well, they most likely do. I mean, in this day and age, the Emperor is not really a look that many people are trying to steal. Not to judge the Emperor, but you know what I mean, group number 3. So definitely stay with the person who you're with, as the King of Crystals is a cute option, but the Emperor is really that main squeeze that is healthiest for you. That's what I see here. Next up, we've got the Fool. So you're starting new things when it comes to the earthly realms, when it comes to your career. I see that here in the 8 of Diamonds, which is most likely also why a fated message that you were meant to receive, group number 3, is to take things easy, to make sure you have enough time to relax, enough time to dedicate to some self-care, to some days at the spa, right? Some days just relaxing and doing nothing, because you don't want to burn yourself out at the start of a new venture and a new project, because then when the time does come around where you need to be there full force in all your power and all your might, but you're burnt out, you're definitely going to regret that, and you're going to wish that you would have taken more time away in order to fuel your creativity, to distract yourself with other things that are healthy, so that when it comes to your work, you're bringing your A game every single time. The 2 of Swords here shows me, group number 3, that some of the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now have to do with you making decisions intuitively, and you just simply need to know yourself. There is no specific amount of hours that you need to work before you burn out. There is no specific time of the day that you need to nap in, that you need to work out in order to remain healthy in the long term. You need to do things intuitively, especially if you're a very methodical type of person or someone who is driven by their rational mind very often, group number 3. Try to do more things just intuitively and through your gut feeling. As I can see here within the 2 of Swords, that this is a message that was kept hidden from you until now, so that you could also experience some challenges following your rational mind and following advice that maybe everyone else would take, and realize that that doesn't really mean anything. Just because someone else would do it doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you. And sometimes the universe needs to teach you a couple hard lessons so that when you do things differently, you know why you're doing things differently and you don't doubt yourself. You know exactly why you're doing something the way you're doing it. Next up, we've got the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords shows me that there is a little bit of loneliness that's going on here. And I do see this loneliness kind of radiating from the King of Crystals. As we spoke about within the 7 of Cups, you've got options, group number 3. Last time I checked and I was in your phone, I saw that you had options. But the 4 of Swords and the King of Crystals shows me here that they're feeling a little lonely. So this is someone who may even be in a relationship, as the King of Crystals is someone who can be a little deceitful. Not gonna lie, group number 3, that is who the King of Crystals is, also known as the King of Pentacles in the traditional tarot decks. So they may be going through a phase of loneliness. They may even be in a relationship where they're stepping out on their person, pretending to be single. So there's a reason why within your reading we had this message of you staying with who you know rather than testing out the waters with this new person, with this person who seems great on the surface but maybe isn't all that trustworthy, group number 3. So don't switch things up in any romantic aspect of your life right now. It's not the right time. You were meant to receive this message to protect your heart. Next up, we've got the Camel. In the Camel, I can see that you must trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. You were meant to receive this message, especially if you have started to doubt yourself, if you have started to doubt your strength or whether you're the right one. Just because you see other people, say on TV or posing on Instagram, and their life seems to be so great and they seem to have all the credentials, that doesn't mean that you're not just as qualified, group number 3. Don't feel as though someone else is more deserving than you are, or as though you are not capable or equipped for your dream job. I see here within the blue heron that an important message for you to receive is to make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others. Sometimes you've just got to be the first who stands up for what's right. You've got to be the first person to ruffle a few feathers, okay? And that's what I see here within the camel and the blue heron. And yes, that may mean jeopardizing relationships, connections, whether that be friendships, platonic relationships, or work relationships. But at the end of the day, you have the resources to still get to where you want to go, especially professionally speaking, without compromising your morals, group number 3, without compromising your beliefs, especially if you're someone who has a very strong opinion. It's not healthy for you to go to bed each night and know that you kind of sold your soul a little bit. That's the worst thing you could do in your situation. I see here within a hidden gift that there is some sort of new beginning that's coming after sadness, after an ending. So the sadness and this ending has everything to do here with the blue heron and the disapproval from others, and also learning who your real friends are. Because when you make a stand for what you believe in and do what feels right in spite of any judgment or disapproval from others, you will very quickly learn who your real friends and supporters are. I see it over and over again, group number 3, and I experience it myself as well when I, for example, post some things on Instagram about rights of different people, be it indigenous people, be it the LGBTQ plus community. There are always people who disagree or who disapprove with my stand for wanting equality and wanting everybody to thrive, no matter what it is that they believe in, no matter what their heritage may be, or no matter what their preference may be, romantically speaking. And that's fine for me. Of course, at the beginning, there was sadness because I felt betrayed. I felt as though, how could this person be a part of the unicorn fam? How could this person be a part of what I do, thinking that I would agree with them, that I would agree with oppression? Because then when I come out taking a stand for what I believe is right, which is everything that goes against oppression and everything that is for people's freedom, and I see some comments about people saying they're disappointed or they did not expect me to speak on these topics. Of course, at the very start there was sadness. I knew there was an ending, but at the same time, it's a new beginning. It is a hidden gift. It's actually not even a hidden gift, especially in this example that I'm sharing with you, group number 3, because it is best for you to not even have people on your team who don't support you and who don't support the causes that you want to stand up for, and for those people to just remove themselves. And so I really do love to share my beliefs. I really do love to share what I take a stand for, because that automatically weeds out the people who are intolerant towards others. That automatically puts off the people who I don't want to be around anyways. So use this as a little example for what this hidden gift may entail in your life, group number 3. Next up, we've got the amethyst. Okay, we're twinning a little bit. I got my little amethyst double D attention ring on today, group number 3. You can find this in my store, actually, on bowlife.com. It's linked below in the description box because I know you guys are always interested in my crystal jewelry. But let's move into it here with the amethyst. We've got transformation, certainty, and confidence. Do know here that confidence is exactly what comes with you taking a stand and losing more and more people that don't really ride on the same wave as you do, but then gaining people who you can really talk to, gaining people who are on the same wavelength, who have the same beliefs and who want the same things you do. And those friendships and connections are way stronger anyways. So do know here in the amethyst that with this ending and with maybe initial sadness comes a great transformation and certainty and confidence in the next group of people and the next people who are in your life, because you know that whether you agree or disagree with them, they are straightforward people, unlike the ones who left. I see here within yin yang that creating harmony through balance is part of the message that had to be revealed to you. And balance is something that comes with time, I believe, and balance is something that is also never quite perfect, right? There's always something that's a little out of whack, a little bit out of balance, and balance is something that we should ultimately strive for, but not in a sense of perfectionism, not in a sense of trying to find a perfect balance with everything. Striving for harmony is great, but at the same time, beware of too much attachment when it comes to that harmony. Try to remind yourself here that the more you let go of attachment to a very specific outcome that represents harmony in your mind, the less restricted you'll be and the less fear you'll have, right? Because when you're only happy with one very specific outcome, group number 3, then there's a lot of fear of, oh my God, what if I don't accomplish that outcome? What if that outcome does not end up being a reality for me? That is where I can see here within attachment and yin and yang that the more you can let go of that, the more you can actually live a stress-free life. So ask yourself this, group number 3, because this is a fated message that was kept hidden from you until now. Ask yourself, in what areas of your life do you have very certain attachments to outcomes? And are those attachments creating fears? How much fear are those attachments creating? And is it really worth you being attached to a specific outcome if it's creating this much anxiety and fear? Well, you're the only one who really knows the answer to that question, group number 3, but I definitely recommend that you be very honest with yourself and ask yourself if you can maybe just let go. Next up, we've got the Two of Swords. We already had the Two of Swords show up for you once within your reading from the Pastel Journey deck group number 3, which is actually the second tarot deck that I ever authored. We've got the Two of Swords over here. I'll put your Two of Swords down here from the Tattoo Tarot, which we're currently using. So this is a reiteration by your guides and from the universe for you to truly listen to your instinct and your intuition more and not overthink all of the things that really don't require you to overthink. And that is often like 90% of life, let's be real, does not require overthinking. You immediately know right from wrong. I can see here in the Ace of Cups a very exciting new beginning, an exciting start, a rejuvenation of your personal life, so to say, group number 3. So if you are in a committed relationship, do know here that the Ace of Cups speaks of renewed romance, okay? You're keeping things spicy, you're keeping things interesting, and you're having fun with your partner. And if you are single, group number 3, the Ace of Cups is actually a symbol of a new lover coming into your life, of a new potential soulmate or twin flame entering your life very soon. This message may have been kept hidden from you up until now to not get you too excited, to keep you cool and calm and collected, but you did also choose the Rose Quartz Crystal and the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, so we've got these romantic vibes kind of spread out throughout your reading in case you haven't noticed, group number 3. But this is only the first part of your prediction about the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now. Make sure that you scroll down into the description box and click the second part of your prediction, which is based on your karma number. Keep in mind that if you don't know what your karma number is, I have linked the video where I explain to you how to find your karma number also within the description box, so you can click that, find your karma number, and then receive the second part of this highly personalized prediction. I promise finding your karma number is super simple. You'll most likely be able to do it within just a minute, under a minute, group number 3. So I'll catch you during the second part of your prediction, which is based on your karma number. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. You chose the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck as well as the Kyanite crystal. Let's do a quick close-up of the crystal of your choice in order to get you acquainted with its energy and vibration. The Kyanite is a stone that brings you a lot of innovative and creative energy. It is also a highly protective crystal, which may be exactly why you chose it. But let's move into your reading in order to figure out what fated messages were kept hidden from you until now, group number 4. Part 1 of your reading. I can already feel it's going to be really juicy. We've got the 10th house as well as the 12th house that popped right out of the pile for you. So let's talk about your 10th house. In your 10th house, we've got structure, discipline, your life's mission, accomplishments, and your career that we're talking about. And then on the other hand, we've got the 12th house, which is all about spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and and healing. Let's see exactly what messages we've got for these two different areas of your life. I'll go into it with the Gentle Heart Tarot deck. So for the 10th house, we've got your discipline, your life mission, your career. We've got the Temperance card. Wow. Okay. So house 10, don't be so hard on yourself. That's what the Temperance card is showing me. And also take a little step back here from just trying to kind of garner more accomplishments, more awards, more prizes, more public recognition. I see here within the Temperance card that you don't need more of it, and you also need to be honest with yourself about when you'll be fine with your accomplishments, when you'll feel as though you have accomplished more than enough and you don't have to keep pushing yourself so hard. Group number 4. Let's move further into your reading with your 12th house. We've got the 8 of diamonds. The 8 of diamonds shows me here that when it comes to your spirituality as well as your healing, it's important for you to invest a little bit more time, energy, and maybe even money into it. Now, that does not mean bogus donations, group number 4, okay? I am definitely not someone who will ever advise you to do that. Any type of spiritual healers or teachers, of course, they may offer courses and things like that, but no credible person is going to ask you for huge sums of money for some sort of weird rituals or anything like that. No, the 8 of diamonds is about investing in yourself spiritually by, for example, taking part in meditation classes, doing a yoga teacher training, purchasing tarot decks, purchasing crystals, maybe partaking in courses and classes that have to do with spiritual things that you love. Even just researching on the internet, that is an investment, not necessarily a financial one, but it is an investment of your time and your energy, which is also a resource, which counts here within the suit of diamonds, and that can help grow this area of your life more and more. Group number 4, which you are called to express, which you're called to definitely make a priority. Whereas in the 10th house, the structured, disciplined, career-oriented side is being called to take a little step back. This is a fated message that was kept hidden from you till you reached a certain point in your career, and now you're being called to take a little step back so you can focus on other things as well. We've got Chiron. So in Chiron, I can see that this is all about hurt and heal. So remind yourself here that you're inevitably going to be hurt in life. You may hurt yourself in instances physically as well as mentally. You will definitely get hurt by other people, but it's all about asking yourself who you will allow to get that close to you, and to remind yourself that it is always possible to heal no matter how deep the hurt may have felt, especially through focusing on your karma, on your healing, your spirituality, as we have here within the 12th house, and pairing that up with a healthy work-life balance from house 10. Remind yourself here within Chiron that as long as someone doesn't mean it, right? As long as you're surrounding yourself with people who wouldn't purposely hurt you, hurt is going to happen, and hurt is something that you can get over without holding a grudge. I see here within the 7 of Swords that it's important for you now to focus on a healthy headspace. Now more than ever, it's important for you to not hold grudges, because there are things going on for you where holding a grudge is just zapping your energy, and you're not going to be able to make the most of these opportunities. Now let's figure out a few more details about what's coming next. We've got Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is often also a symbol of fertility, kindness, that nurturing energy that you would, for example, give to someone who you're teaching, a child, maybe also an animal, a pet. That's what I see here within Kuan Yin. So try not to hold grudges, because the more you grow as a person and the older you get, the more you will realize that it's a huge waste of time to do that. And I can see here within Kali Ma that we've got a spiritual transformation that's taking place for you. So spirituality is really important. We've already established that within your reading group number 4. So do just allow this to happen for you without any intervention from your side. Group number 4, allow for yourself to spend a lot more time healing. Healing is something that you're never truly done with, that you're just constantly working on, and the more time that you spend really tending to your 12th house, the more you will actually find kindness and nurturing within you to extend to others as well. I see within Cain that you will also receive more life force and energy in order to do more things that you love, be it workout, for example, build businesses, create your own podcast or your own YouTube channel, the more you are healed and balanced and in a place where you're tending to your spirituality rather than always putting work above it all else, the more you will actually find that you have more energy overall, not just for the things you love, but also for the things that have to get done. And everything becomes a lot more enjoyable. In Dryad, I see protecting your energy being something that you must do now. And in order to protect your energy, you kind of need to close the valve that's open here in the 10th house, the pipeline that is just allowing for the energy to stream into the workplace. You have to confine that energy to a place where you can make use of it for your own personal growth, where you can gain control over it again, especially if you've lost control of your energy to some degree, group number 4, so that you can get all of your ducks in a row and actually know what you have, how much energy that you possess, and where you want to get to next. It's almost like knowing what your finances are really like. You have to put everything into some sort of spreadsheet. You have to look at all of your accounts. You have to have all your bills paid. You have to get a great overview for you to really know what you have and also what your next target is. Next up, we've got the 8 of Pentacles, which is actually the exact same card as the 8 of Diamonds, just from 2 different decks. And would you believe it, group number 4, these are 2 decks that I authored and published, and this one is the Gentle Heart Tarot deck, and this deck right here is the Pastel Journey. It is just such a beautiful deck, as you can see. So the 8 of Pentacles shows me that there is more work that needs to be done when it comes to your spiritual transformation. You're most likely going to go through a phase of strong enlightenment, of almost feeling like you're maybe even a little bit crazy. That is why this card is showing up twice from 2 different tarot decks. There are 78 cards in a tarot deck, in case you didn't know that, group number 4. So the fact that this card showed up from 2 separate decks, meanwhile we've only laid 4 cards in total, chances are very slim of this happening. So see this as the universe speaking to you, and see this as your guides telling you you need to work more on this area of your life, because that's really what the 8 of Pentacles represents. You can see it within the depictions. It's all about honing your skills. It's all about looking at the little details, working on them, and not just leaning back and saying, well, I've done enough, I'm fine here. There's always more that could be done. I can see here within the Judgment card that it's definitely also important for you to know when to just be happy with your progress. Okay, so group number 4, take everything with an approach that puts you in a balanced place. Okay, never approach anything going too much into an extreme. Remain balanced still. There's a reason why this card was pulled into the reading, to make sure I get this message out there, that I don't just tell you to keep working and that it's never enough and never good enough. That's why the universe is immediately telling me, hey, you need to let group number 4 know that judgment is something to be reserved for certain instances, but not to be present all the time. Next up, we've got the Hermit. So group 4 in the Hermit, I can see some alone time here for you. And this alone time has to do with your work. Okay, the next project that you get, try to do it by yourself. I see that here with the Temperance card. Spending time with other people working on projects is most likely just going to drain you. So group 4, you're definitely going through a little bit of an introverted phase. You're going through a time where alone time is important, as I see in the Ace of Wands, that you have lots of great ideas, lots of great creative things that are coming to you, and you don't want someone to take credit for those ideas, because that's one thing that I can also see here in the Hermit, the Temperance card, and the Ace of Wands. The universe is trying to protect you. There's a reason why this fated message is being revealed to you, and it is to avoid you feeling angry, feeling betrayal, or feeling as though you worked with someone or opened your ideas up to someone and they then sold it as their own work. So let's move into your reading with the rest of these cards that we've got. We've got the Cleanse card, the Mystery card, Faith and Passion. Allow me to just clean up the little mess. There we go, group number 4. So first off, within Passion and Faith, I do see here that the more you believe in a project, the more you actually can put passion into it. It makes a lot of sense, because of course, if you don't believe in something, you won't put as much passion into it, just as though if you didn't believe, for example, in your YouTube channel, then you won't put as much passion into being creative, into new ideas, and into making it a very special thing. Whether you're an author, author, some sort of creative, a filmmaker, whether you are someone who just loves to make music, the more you're passionate about something, the more you will actually have great ideas come to you, and the more you will be able to innovate, just as I continuously try to innovate on my channel as well, because I feel really passionate about it. And that's definitely something that I know the Unicorn fam feels, and I want you to do the same for your projects, group number 4. Next up, we've got mystery as well as cleanse. So there are some hidden gems that are still going to be revealed to you, most likely within part 2 of this video, of these faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now. So this is the part of the video where we are moving on to part 2, which is based on your karma number, group number 4. If you don't know your karma number, don't panic. I have that video linked in the description box, so you can click the video, watch it, figure out what your karma number is. I promise it's very easy, and then come back to click the timestamps underneath this video where you can receive the next mysterious messages that were kept hidden from you up until now. But you will need your karma number, so make sure that you figure that out in order to receive the second part of this reading, as this is a very clear sign as we are nearing this first part of your prediction that there are more mysteries that we need to clean out, cleanse ourselves of, rid ourselves of secretive energy, so everything can just be revealed, so messages can be uncovered. So I will leave the first part of your reading at that, group number 4, and I'll catch you during the second part of your prediction. Hello, karma number 1, and welcome to your second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we get into the faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now based on your karma number. So let's get into it. We've got the 3 of Swords, the 7 of Wands, the 6 of Coins, as well as the 4 of Coins. So we've got 2 cards from the suit of coins, which is the suit that corresponds to the earthly realms. Let's get into that, because clearly this is a part of your faded messages that you need to receive and hear immediately. The 6 of coins combined with the 4 of coins equals 10, right? If we just combine 6 plus 4, which is a number of completion. Do you see here that when it comes to the numerological aspect of how you can gain more financial success, lead a healthier and happier life overall, we have to marry these two. We have to combine these two aspects for completion. So the 6 of coins is a representation of giving, sharing, spending time and energy helping others, whereas the 4 of coins actually is a sign of holding back, being a little bit stingy, so to say, and holding on to your assets overall. So it seems as though the combination that you need is to actually really set time aside where you will be helping people and you will be doing things for others, but also set time and resources aside for yourself. And karma number 1, resources doesn't necessarily just always mean financial resources. Your energy and your time, those are finite resources, and it's important for you to allocate some of those to yourself and the things that you want. As I can see here within the 3 of Swords, that resentment is something that festers very easily when you fail to do so, whereas in the 7 of Wands, that may lead you to cut corners with different ventures where you really shouldn't be cutting corners. So think of yourself being really exhausted by your private life or from having to spend time tending to others, not replenishing your own energy, and therefore maybe cutting corners at work or in your creative projects, and that then stifles your growth professionally, but also emotionally, because you know that you're not putting your best foot forward, and that is something that you have to carry with you subconsciously. Next up, we've got Rhiannon. So in Rhiannon, I can see here that a faded message that was kept hidden from you until now is that you must find your inner strength to also break free from any types of fangs or ties that you may have, any types of debts that you feel you have towards another person. A lot of us feel as though we are indebted to our parents or to our partners or to someone who we're trying to help who maybe has a quote-unquote tougher life than we do. But that's where in Rhiannon you have to find the inner strength to level the playing field and to remind yourself that you didn't ask to be born. It's not your fault, that someone else is going through a lot of difficulties, so you can't put all of the responsibility on yourself to be there for them and to fix it. Next up, we've got Mawu Lisa. So in Mawu Lisa, it's all about that balance, right? And it makes a lot of sense with what we've spoken about within your reading up until this point, karma number 1. You're definitely the type of person who needs to step into their courage and leadership role and to not allow people to just draw them in all types of directions, especially if you are someone who spends a lot of time creating, if you are someone who is semi in the public eye. And why I say semi in the public eye is because, I mean, if you are some sort of host of, say, a radio station, or you are someone who has a lot of presentations that you need to hold in front of other people, and you just hold more of a speaker role, it's important for you to be very discerning and assertive when it comes to what jobs that you take and in which situations you put yourself out there, because people will have you doing all types of crazy things, karma number 1. So it is essential for you to be selective and assertive and to not just take on any old speaking engagement or a speaking role or presentation that people are asking of you to give. Be very selective and do search for those perfect opportunities that really do go with your morals and your values and the way that you see yourself. But if you were your own brand, it's important for you to know exactly what that identity looks like, what your brand identity is all about, and to remind yourself that if you're feeling lost, it's best to just take a little step back and jot down exactly what you want to accomplish in your life. That way you will hopefully be able to rediscover your direction rather than just aimlessly moving into everyone's space and partaking in everyone's shenanigans, because often people will put you forth to partake in projects or do things that they themselves wouldn't do. So this is something that you're being called to look out for. Next up, we've got the hidden path. So in the hidden path, we've got the marriage of spirit and matter, making sure that you're unifying the two. We spoke about material things, but also your growth in the spiritual realm, right? Your spiritual intelligence being of importance. So that is where I can see here that your hidden path, the thing that you have been searching for a very long time, is that perfect kind of intersection where on one hand you can enjoy nice things, you can enjoy finer things in life as well, you can enjoy luxuries, and on the other hand that doesn't take away from you feeling like you're an authentic and spiritual creature. And that's a part of spirituality that I feel is really underrated, that not many people talk about. There is the suit of coins, right? The suit of pentacles, which represents the material realms. So being a spiritual person doesn't have to look like the stereotype of not owning anything or not liking anything in the material realm. This is all a part of life, and even in ancient times there were gatherers, collectors, people who always liked to have shiny objects, precious things that were rare around them, and to spend time getting to know these things and organizing and sorting them. I can see here within the Princess of Swords that it is definitely essential that you discern between what you think you should look like or what you think spirituality should be and what it really means to you, because of course there are stereotypes of everything, whether it be a type of orientation spiritually, whether it be gender roles, but it's important that you make a differentiation between the stereotype and reality, and also what you want your reality to look like. The Tower shows me some sort of crumbling, some sort of really big change when it comes to your home. So things completely being revamped and changed, maybe even moving homes. All of my karma number 1s, as I do see here in the Tower, that you will be inclined to completely rebuild, and also be very smart when it comes to your finances, when it comes to how you're spending money, and doing so gradually. The Emperor shows me your leadership qualities are coming more and more into play. So it's as though the more you find content creators and material that empowers you and that gives you stability, the more you're able to embrace yourself. And also reminding yourself here that nobody chooses their parents, their upbringing, or their surroundings, but you do choose how you react to it right now and what you do in this very moment based on the experiences that you've been through. However, you are in charge of your life right now, so take full responsibility of it and remind yourself that while things may have been difficult in the past, they don't need to continue to be difficult moving forward. I see within the Death card that there's a completely fresh beginning that's coming towards all my beautiful karma number ones. In connectivity to the Tower, these are probably the two most destructive cards when it comes to giving you a completely fresh slate. Now, karma number one, I don't want you to be worried about these cards because after every period or cycle, there has to be death, there has to be an ending in order for something new to be built. Just as in the Tower, demolishing an old home that has kind of seen its prime time will allow for a new castle or a beautiful contemporary build to take shape and take form. So it is definitely important for you to embrace the clearing of your space and the energies so that you can bring new relationships and new infrastructure into your life. So welcome this karma number one, and do know here that there are some big changes coming for you when it comes to your living space, when it comes to how you treat your finances, how you spend money, but also the marriage of spirit and matter and how you see your spirituality as a whole, your spiritual journey, and how you put that together with the material realm without shaming yourself or feeling as though you have to fit a certain mold or you have to look a certain way. So all of my beautiful karma number ones, this is the second part to your prediction that I've received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found this two-part prediction insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section. Leave a crown emoji in the comment section to represent the karma number one. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, karma number two, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we figure out the remainder of these faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now. Let's move into it. We've got the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Swords, as well as the Devil. Okay, I can see here the Knight of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and the Devil that someone is painting a bit of a fairy tale type of picture for you. I see that here within the Knight of Cups and the Ten of Swords. They are saying that they are all that and a bag of chips, all of my karma number twos. This person is trying to deceive you into feeling as though they are the perfect spouse, the perfect boyfriend or girlfriend, that they have the perfect life and relationship. But I do want you to know here within the Devil that it's kind of all an act, and you were meant to receive this faded message to not only have you look out for the Knight of Cups, who represents someone who is roughly around your age biologically. However, they are more on the immature side and they have strong water sign energy in their birth chart. Think Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancerian. So we're not only representing this person who is an actual person in your life, this is also meant to represent the fact that people always put their best moments out there, be it on Instagram or Facebook or whatever socials it is that you use, also YouTube, a lot of the lifestyle content and so on. It only shows the ups. It only shows when people are thriving and doing amazingly well and living in these huge mansions. And it's important for you to keep in mind that just because we're seeing a snapshot of an amazing relationship or what seems to be an amazing life doesn't mean that that is actually what their existence is like, especially all of the time. Nobody's life is amazing 100% of the time. People go through ups and downs. That's normal. I can see here within Lilith that you're being given this message of facing your shadow and also asking yourself why you've compared yourself to other other people's perfect snapshot in that very moment, why you have compared your entire life and your existence to unrealistic standards, be it living standards, be it beauty standards, and why you felt the need to kind of say to yourself, maybe your life isn't that great. I do want you to know here in Inanna, your guides want you to believe in yourself, and your guides want you to remember to be kind to yourself. While you are getting to the bottom and you are doing shadow work here within Lilith, it's also important for you to continue to believe in yourself moving forward and believe that your life is awesome and your life does have a lot of potential to get better and for you to do all of the things that you've always wanted to do, even if you haven't done them yet, karma number 2. But the more that you focus on someone else's fabricated life or someone else's illusion of a life that they're putting out there on social media, the less you will actually be able to live your own life and experience your own things, right? Let's move further into your reading. Next up, we've got Mary Magdalene. In Mary Magdalene, we've got this sacred marriage that we are looking at here within the Ten of Swords, the Devil, and the Knight of Cups. So someone pretending as though their marriage or their relationships that they have are so sacred and so well taken care of, but they're actually just putting on a bit of a front and they're just acting, as we already spoke about, karma number 2. So do keep in mind here that a lot of relationships and situations that you thought were pure are not what it seems. And I do want you to know here within the grouse that it's important for you to express yourself through moving your body and kind of shake off any negative feelings that you may harbor towards your life through physical movement. And if you're not someone who likes to dance, for example, if that's something that makes you feel really uncomfortable, then try to move by going out on walks, on runs, on hikes. However you can move your body and kind of shake up the energy is a great way for you to be reminded that there's so much more to life than what we see in day-to-day media and situations, karma number 2. Next up, we've got the rattlesnake. The rattlesnake comes with the message of the experiences that you're presently going through being an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So you do have this purpose of healing and helping others, and that may reflect in the things that you love doing most or even in your job, karma number 2. But it is definitely also a learning process, a learning curve. You are going through feeling as though life could be better for you. You're going through these feelings of asking yourself if some people really do lead these perfect lives and whether your life measures up to what you see projected in the media in order to bring you back to feeling centered, feeling grounded as you go through periods where you have ups and downs, and you have to teach yourself how to come back to a place of balance. You have to teach yourself how to get through tough times, and the more you learn to teach yourself how to get through those experiences, the more you will be able to pass that knowledge on. Next up, we've got confidence. So all of my beautiful karma number 2s and confidence, I can see here that facing your shadow will bring you more confidence, and also doing more things physically, that too will increase your confidence overall. So those are one of the main things that your guides want you to engage in right now, being within a space where you're moving your body and also building strength. So building strength is a gradual thing, and it's definitely something you have to stick to over a long period of time. Trust me, karma number 2, I've been in yoga teacher training for months, and I am still trying to do my first push-up without putting my knees down with perfect form. Building strength, whether it be in your arms or in the rest of your body, is something that takes time and endurance. I see here within surrender that the more you kind of surrender to the process and the fact that it takes time and you don't push yourself to a place where you're not meant to be just yet, the more you will actually find that the process to getting to your next stage is super enjoyable. Just as, for example, wishing that you were very wealthy or wishing that your business was super successful. It is an amazing thing to wish for in the moment, right? It is something that you want, but at the same time, often you need to go through lessons and you have to learn things in order to be equipped to handle riches, to handle leading other people. Leaders, CEOs, people who have a lot of wealth didn't usually get there coincidentally. Yes, there is the odd person who gets there through winning the lottery, for example, but at the same time, 99.9% of those people have taken lots of deliberate steps forward into that direction and had to learn a lot of lessons that they couldn't run from, that they couldn't just kind of skip over to get there. But that prepared them to be someone who knows how to handle all that's given to them, because with being a person who has received a lot comes a lot of responsibility. Next up, we've got success. So ultimately, karma number 2, a faded message that was kept hidden from you until now is that you will be successful. Yes, you have your worries, you have your times of overthinking, of wondering if you'll ever be as successful as you really want to be, but this is kind of the confirmation you need from your guide. Success is assured. Success is literally in the cards for you. So make sure that you don't allow yourself to feel as though a bad day or a difficult moment equates to a difficult, challenging life, because that is not the case whatsoever. All of my beautiful karma number 2s, you're definitely meant to grow in strength, to grow in confidence, to surrender to the process and know that you'll get to where you need to be and be successful in due course, but that the lessons that you learn on the way there are just as important as crossing the finish line and actually getting to where you'd like to go, to where you're dreaming of going next. So karma number 2, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed this second and even more personalized part. Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, karma number 3, and welcome to the second and even more intricate part of your prediction, where we figure out the remainder of the faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now. So all my beautiful March and December babies, let's get into your reading to figure out exactly what messages still need to be revealed. We've got the 7 of coins, the 6 of coins, the 3 of swords, as well as the Empress. Let's put all of these tarot cards together, shall we? We've got the 6 of coins as well as the 7 of coins. So on one hand, on the right here with the 6 of coins, a faded message you were meant to receive is to give and to share, and to know here that sometimes you have to allow for more time than you're used to for things to come to fruition. And also, success takes time. It's not an overnight thing. A lot of time we see these seemingly overnight successes on TV or on social media, people's businesses taking off from one day to the next, people's YouTube channels exploding, people's podcasts going viral. But most likely, usually 99% of the time, the people whose things come to these great amounts of success, these people have been practicing it for a long time. So it's only a matter of time for that growth to happen for them. And then it seems like it was an overnight process, but people have usually been working on their talents and their skills for a long time. Whether it be an author that's been writing their entire life and finally their books hit the shelf and that book is a bestseller, that was a culmination of years and decades of hard work, even though it may look to someone on the outside like an overnight success. The same goes, for example, for a YouTube channel. That person has maybe worked on their skill for a very long time, and then all of a sudden it seems like things blow up overnight, but this is actually a skill that they have been looking at, that they have been working on, that they have been reviewing for years and years and years. So I do see here in the Six of Coins and the Three of Swords that it's important for you to internalize this message of giving yourself grace, giving yourself time, and reminding yourself here that the road to success is bumpy, it will have detours, and that you need to be patient with yourself. Often things look like overnight successes, but actually they are the culmination of a lot of dedicated, hard, disciplined work. Next up, we've got the Empress, which speaks of fertility, also in the sense here of projects. The Seven of Coins and the Six of Coins, just overall the suit of coins, corresponds to the element of earth, which entails your physical body as well, not just material things. So on one hand, yes, the Empress speaks of fertility when it comes to business ideas and conceiving new business ideas, and this is a great time for you to conceive a new business, karma number 3. But at the same time, do also know here in the Seven of Coins, Six of Coins, and the Empress that your physical body is also in top shape when it comes to fertility. Now, the Three of Swords shows me here that there is definitely a bit of a mental dilemma, a little bit of a mental situation where yes, you may physically be in shape and fertile, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to act on it or explore that fertility, and that's fine. All of my karma number 3s, just enjoy the fact that your body is in tip-top shape. Just enjoy the fact that this fated message is here reminding you to be grateful for your body and the fact that it can heal itself. Next up, we've got Persephone. So in Persephone, I want you to understand here that a fated message that was kept hidden from you until now is that there's a new beginning ahead. This was most likely kept hidden from you so that you don't give up on current pursuits and so that you don't kind of neglect the projects that you were working on. Just because there is a new fresh beginning coming doesn't mean that all of a sudden you can throw things into the bin that have not been working out. Sometimes you have to be persistent and follow through on ideas in order to make them work. As soon as things get rocky, it's not a good idea to immediately give up, because you will end up being that person who has so many unfinished projects and never has that feeling of completion that actually allows you to feel proud of yourself and allows you to feel confidence in your abilities. I see in the High Priest of Atlantis that chakra healing is what comes next, and chakra healing is something that you can benefit from greatly. Chakra healing is something you can do with a specialist, with an actual healer. There are a lot of people who offer this. Also Reiki. Do look for someone near you who is able to do some balancing and healing of the energy centers. And again, give it time, as we have here in the Seven of Coins. It's not an overnight thing. You may have to go see a therapist a few times to get to a healthier space, whether it be a physical therapist or someone who performs energy healing. Do give it a couple chances before you write it off or before you feel as though it's either worked or it hasn't. Thoth shows me here some divine masculine energy for you. This divine masculine energy creates some friction with the feminine energy and the Seven of Coins that is kind of holding everything back from moving forward. And by feminine energy, I mean the energy of waiting, of receiving, as we do have this little sand clock over here. So make sure that you channel the energy of wanting to keep things going into an area of your life that has not showed up until this point, like your emotional well-being, your emotional connections, and your relationships, as anything that has to do with money, with projects that you have been working on professionally. Those areas need a little bit more time and patience from you. I can see here within Agma that you have to watch your words. Your words are like the mantra, the soundtrack to your life, my karma number 3s. So the way that you speak about your projects and yourself is truly life-changing, especially at this point. Have you ever noticed, all of my karma number 3s, that the more you, for example, say that you're not going to do something, or the more you talk about something something, the more it happens. Someone was saying to me for a very long time that, oh, you have so many pets. If you get a snake, then I'm not going to come visit you anymore, etc. And I had never even considered, for example, a snake as a pet. But probably all the while from hearing someone repeat what they didn't want so often to me, I started to look into it. I started to research reptiles more and more, and I had already been interested in reptiles and other animals. I really love this channel called Ants Canada on YouTube. It is slightly on the nerdy side, but it is so educational and fun. And long story short, the more people projected onto me not to do something, the more I heard it, the more I researched it and loved it. And guess what? I am a snake mother, a snake owner at this point. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen my beautiful snake Venus. In the Ace of Swords, do know here that the more these words are repeated, whether it's words that you are saying or you're being told and listening to, the more it will actually manifest and implement in your mind. The Ace of Swords is all about new things rooting themselves into your mental space, into your head, and being able to grow from there on out. So be very careful and deliberate with your words, and be mindful of the people around you and the types of words that they're using. Do they talk to you and kind of make you feel good about yourself and build you up, or are the people who surround you tearing you down? Because it does really have an effect on your life, where the Four of Cups shows me here that there's some cleaning out that you can do with certain people, because there's definitely a person who isn't lifting you up the way that they really should. And right now, watching this reading, you're most likely realizing that you may have given them more power over your mental well-being and your life than you ever should have, especially kind of referring back to the story that I just shared of my personal experience with someone constantly telling me, don't do this, don't do that, and then it ended up happening, not because I was deliberately trying to do that, but just from hearing it over and over again, all of a sudden it backfired on that person. So do know here in the Four of Cups and the Ace of Swords that it is also okay for you to speak your mind, to tell someone that they should stop using certain terminology around you, whether it be very negative wording, whether it be something that is kind of racist or sexist or against a certain group of people, discriminatory. It is okay for you to state those boundaries and to tell someone, look, if that's how you're going to be talking, I don't want to be around you because it's not affecting me in a positive manner. The King of Wands here shows me that you're standing up for yourself, and you're kind of giving the people who don't respect you a piece of your mind, and also distancing yourself because you don't really have time for that at all. The High Priest of Atlantis definitely shows here that pairing that with therapy, with some sort of chakra or energy healing, actually can balance you back out to a place where it feels as though you never lost any connections, or you never had to confront someone in a way that made you feel uncomfortable, because you will come to these epiphanies that what needed to be done just needed to be done, and that's part of your journey and part of the emancipation of you. Karma number 3. Next up, we've got the Two of Wands. In the Two of Wands, it becomes clear that you have to make some deliberate and assertive choices. The Divine Masculine that we have here in Thoth is all about that, right? It's all about making decisions, not being afraid to put your foot down, and also understanding here that whenever you make a choice, you take a little step forward and you show yourself that you know where you're going, you know what you're trying to do, and that you're unafraid to take steps forward, even if not every step is perfect, even if some steps will go in the quote-unquote wrong direction. You believe that you are worthy of making your choices and following through of them. So all of my beautiful karma number 3s, this is the second part of the messages that were kept hidden from you until now. I hope that you enjoyed this uncovering of these messages. I hope you found it insightful. Feel free to let me know down below in the comment section. Furthermore, I would like to thank you for sharing this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, karma number 4, and welcome to the second part of your faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now. Let's move straight into it so we can reveal these remaining faded messages for you. So we've got Imhotep as well as Artemis. In Imhotep, I can see here that you're more of a visionary than you give yourself credit for, and Artemis shows me here that it's important you embrace a little bit more bravery. So you have some great creative ideas, and maybe you've always dreamt of being in the public eye for your creativity and for the fact that maybe you love making music, you love creating fashion, you love writing, you love recording things. I can definitely see here that this is a part of your life that you can give a little bit more courage and bravery to. The Three of Cups here shows me that it's important that you surround yourself with people who believe in you and who uplift you. That way you will feel this surge of confidence to go after the things that you love. Whereas if you, of course, hang out with people who always see the glass as half empty and always feel as though situations are not quite perfect so they can't take action, then that will rub off on you. So do know here in the Three of Cups that a message you are meant to receive is to pay close attention to your company and the people who surround you. The Eight of Pentacles shows me here that a message needing to be revealed is for you to continue to work on the things that make you happy, the things that you can work on in your flow state where you don't even realize that time goes by, the stuff that's like a creative outlet for you. For me, for example, YouTube, tarot readings, these are creative outlets for me because I feel as though I can connect with something bigger than myself, and I can constantly also work on growing because the cards reveal so much different information all the time. So do know here in the Three of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles that your network really does identify your net worth, and the more that you hang around people who also have big picture thinking, are never done with learning, and are never kind of over their work because they love it, the more you will find that that rubs off on you positively. Next up, we've got the Queen of Wands. So karma number 4, the Queen of Wands shows me here that on one hand, we have the divine masculine energy of the suit of wands, which is the suit of the element of fire. But on the other hand, we've got the Queen, right, which represents more of that feminine energy. So we have a great balance here. An important message that you're meant to hear and receive is that on one hand, taking action is important with your projects, but on the other hand, it's also really great how you keep some things to yourself and you kind of wait to be ready before you reveal too much to other people. As the Chariot does show me that you have some very innovative things that other people may not be able to come up with without your input. So keeping those things private and secret for a while before coming out with a big bang and running with the success that will come with it is important, especially if you work in a space or you're studying in a space with a lot of competition. Not to give those people around you a heads up is something you're going to want to do because you want to take credit for the things that you invested time and energy into and not allow for other people to take your idea and run with it and get ahead, even though it is rightfully your time to be celebrated. I see here within the Ace of Crystals some brand new ideas coming towards you, and I can see within Artemis as well as the Three of Cups that you will be able to embrace those ideas if you choose to focus on them in a different manner than you have in the past. So in the past, you've maybe focused more on feasibility of your ideas and your projects, feasibility of the businesses that you've thought of getting into. But I see here within the Ace of Crystals and the Two of Diamonds that switching your approach to actually turning more inwards and holding up a mirror to yourself, karma number 4, will bring you more success because you are not the type of person who isn't going to take credit where credit is due. You're not the type of person who is very pompous or patronizing. You always underestimate yourself and you're kind of very humble. So for you to look in the mirror and come to this realization that what you really need is to work more on your brave spirit, more on your confidence rather than your approach to your projects. Won't be easy, but at the same time, it is definitely reassuring because your ideas and your craft is good enough to be successful, to be part of the people who you look up to most. Okay, you have what it takes, but do you believe in yourself? Now that's what you need to ask yourself, all of my beautiful karma number 4s, or shall I say my April babies. The Hierophant shows me here that it's important that you use spirituality, religion, whatever it is that you feel the most drawn towards, that you use that in order to give yourself the strength, in order to support yourself, that you don't feel oppressed by it. And that is why it's so important for me to have my channel be an open, sacred space where we can chill and vibe and speak to each other very directly and honestly, because there are a lot of religions or a lot of communities that can be oppressive, that can be very controlling. And I want this space to be safe for those of you who are spiritual, for those of you who are atheist, religious, and to remind you here of the fact that as long as you feel good in what you're doing and you're not harming somebody else or holding someone else back from living their truth and their highest potential, that's what truly matters. And use your inner world and your inner workings as a tool to support yourself. The message shows me some positive news that's coming towards you. So I do see some positive changes in your external world. And I want you to know here in the 8 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, and the 2 of Diamonds, that your friend circle is changing. That may also change the location where you live, as I do definitely see that you have some ideas of relocating, of moving somewhere else, of just changing your environment overall. And the message shows me some positive news about that and a positive outcome. Whereas in achievement, it's important that you continue to stay focused on your dream. Of course, it is always nice to live in a beautiful space, but if, for example, your ultimate goal is to own your own dream home or to purchase properties that are investment properties, then of course it doesn't make sense for you to relocate to a more expensive apartment or home that you're renting just in order to up things in the meantime, when in the long run you could just save for a little longer and do what is your actual goal, right? Which would be purchasing a thing on your own, as an example. So keep that in mind, all of my beautiful karma number 4s. Not put quick pleasures over long-term gratification, as that delayed gratification, all my karma number 4s, the feeling of that is so irreplaceable. It's so one of a kind when you worked on something hard and it's something you've wanted for a long time and you finally get there. There is no quick pleasure or quick gain that can compete with that feeling. So keep that in mind, as that is a message that needed to be revealed to you right now in order for you to not make any mistakes moving forward. So all of my beautiful karma number 4s, this is the second part to your prediction that I received for you. Leave a little flower emoji down below in the comment section if you made it all the way to the end, and of course also to represent your karma number. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, karma number 5, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction. So let's get straight into it. All you need to do is lean back, relax, and continue to enjoy this highly personalized approach to your reading so we can uncover all of the faded messages that were kept hidden from you until now. So we've got Chiron, water, as well as air. Let's start off with water. Water is the element of emotions, right? It is the element that represents spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion, whereas air is almost the opposite, so to say. It's all about open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. Furthermore, the element of air also represents your communication. I can see here within Chiron, water as well as air, that a fated message that you were meant to receive, that you were meant to uncover, is all about healing some hurt that you have internalized through miscommunication. So emotionally, you may have certain things within you, certain trauma that you're still carrying around, karma number 5. This trauma may entail someone telling you during your younger years that you will never amount to anything, maybe that you are unattractive physically or emotionally, or that you're not very intelligent, so on and so forth. And I see here within water that it still stings, it still hurts, and it is definitely something that has affected you, as I do want you to know here in the element of air that the way people communicate with you, that's something that does stay with you. It's something that leaves an impression. Chiron shows me that it's time for you to finally reveal this message, that you must heal from that. You must focus on also never taking anyone's word personally. And if you have been impacted by someone else's words that were not supportive, that were maybe unjust, it is also essential that you learn to free yourself from the burdens or from the aftermath and effects of that. We've got Kadesh, and Kadesh shows me here that sexual wisdom is something that comes with time, that comes with courage and self-confidence, karma number 5. So especially if you have been mistreated in a romantic relationship and you felt that maybe in a sensual way, in an intimate way, you were taken advantage of or led to believe that you're not as attractive as you now finally know that you are, that can also still harbor some hurt. But remind yourself here within Kadesh that it's all a learning experience. And the more you learn to kind of differentiate right from wrong and do something immediately, set your boundaries with people, the more you will learn that anything that has happened to you in the past was not your fault. Other people, especially people in power, if there was an imbalance, if you dealt with someone who was older than you, a boss or a parent who didn't treat you the way that they should have treated you, that is on them, not you. And that is where I can see here within Hod that you have to remember what the truth is, and you also are being called to tell the truth. We have that here connected to the element of air, which again is the element of communication, also of objectivity. Sometimes people are just wrong, and when people are wrong, especially if they are very narcissistic or they're very self-involved, they may not like to hear the truth, all of my karma number 5s, but that does not need to stop you from telling the truth, especially if it's your truth, and especially if it is your truth when it comes to how you feel about yourself sensually and in a romantic sense. If someone has impacted that, they need to hear the truth about it, whether they like it or not. After all, they just need to hear about it. You had to live it, karma number 5. In Inanna, you're being called to believe in yourself. Yeah, we're looking at some things here, karma number 5. I'm not gonna lie, it's some things that are not easy to look at. You're maybe reliving or rethinking of some situations that were tough. But if you're still triggered emotionally, karma number 5, then this is an area of your life that most likely still needs to be looked at. And healing is not something that's a one and done type of situation. Healing is something that you continuously need to do, and wounds can also be ripped open again. Even if you thought that a wound has healed, you do not have to feel embarrassed or hurt or guilty, for that wound may be coming back up. You may have thought to yourself in the past that you have gotten over a betrayal, but all of a sudden a situation in life or a person triggers you to feel like that panic again, that anxiety again. And it's completely fine for you to live through that, to experience that, to feel like your wound is being opened again, because that just shows that there is still more growth and healing that you can do in order to regain control over yourself. Surrender, karma number 5. Surrender to the fact that you are human, and things will happen that will be triggering. Things will happen that will make you feel like you've taken 10 steps back. And that is okay, karma number 5, because ultimately that shows success. If there's one thing that's constant within your life, then that is change, karma number 5. We are not on this planet to be stagnant, to be the same for our entire existence. That is not the point. And if things are constantly changing and constantly evolving, healing, growing, then you know you're on the right path. Even if that growth and that change and that healing isn't always easy, that means you're alive. Because if you weren't alive, you wouldn't be able to experience any of those things. So consider yourself successful. Consider yourself, in a sense, oh so fortunate to have the privilege to feel pain. There's a reason why the pain card popped right into your prediction, karma number 5, and why it wants to be part of your reading, why it wants to be part of the information that is now finally being revealed to you. Have you ever thought to yourself that some people cannot feel pain and that causes a lot of grief to them? Like people who are not fully able-bodied, for example. People who have some sort of circumstance physically that does not allow them to feel areas of their body. And that causes a lot of pain. So see pain as something that can also be a positive, because that means you can feel. And it's better than feeling numb, than feeling nothing. Anyone who has been through depression will tell you that they just want to feel. Next up, we've got determination. I do see here for you, karma number 5, that is a big strength that you have, your determination, and the fact that you're not someone who is very easily scared or intimidated. So definitely use that to your advantage and use that to show others that you are empowered and you're not going to be scared into submission. You're not the type of person who is going to allow for someone to mistreat you or put you in a situation that you don't want to be in, all because they're the boss or they have a financial authority or anything like that. You see everyone is equal. The 9 of Swords shows me here that to you, that is like a nightmare. That would be like you selling your soul if you were to submit to someone who just literally uses status or money in order to gain power and control over others. You will never do that, because that would make you feel like such a sellout. I can see here within the Fool, karma number 5, that there's also a completely fresh beginning that's coming for you. The Fool corresponds to the number 0, which is the first card of the major arcana within the tarot. And I do want you to know within the Fool that this beginning, which will result in the World card, which is like the culmination of the journey, does state here that you're turning a new leaf and starting a fresh chapter of how you see hurt, how you see pain, and understanding that in a way you being able to feel hurt and pain already means that you have a lot of things to celebrate in your life, that you are successful in a sense. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that if you cannot feel pain or if you're feeling numb, that you're unsuccessful. It's just about appreciating emotion, whether that is emotion that is quote unquote easy or celebrated in society, or whether it's a type of emotion that we're taught to swipe under the rug, to never look at, to never confront. Appreciate it all and try to not be afraid of any of your emotion, because it's all valid and all of it makes you who you are. So karma number 5, this is the second part to your prediction that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section by leaving a little lion emoji down there to let me and others know that you are here and that you're a karma number 5. Thank you so much for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, karma number 6, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we figure out exactly what fated messages were kept hidden from you until now. Ooh, we have a card that popped right out of the pile, which is the 6 of Coins. Being giving, being caring. I can definitely see here within the 6 of Coins that a message that was kept hidden from you until now is that you're going to receive something, some sort of material gift. This This can also symbolize a raise at your job, a promotion in your professional life, just overall receiving some sort of good news that will leave you feeling really victorious. And why you are being left to receive this message up until now is because, in the Two of Coins, you are being called to focus more on your work-life balance up until this point, and also to work on your resilience, because oftentimes when we have things handed to us, we can sometimes forget to really work through other struggles. For example, if you didn't have to work a day in your life because you needed the finances, you may not be as driven and as motivated as you are because you have maybe had to go through tough times financially. The same goes for emotional strength. If you've always had everyone catering to your needs and wants, once a time comes where you're going through a difficulty and you don't have anyone to lean on because maybe the people who were usually there for you are busy, all of a sudden you may find it really difficult to get through those situations by yourself because you never learned to do it, and you may forget how important it is to be able to do both, to accept help and generosity and promotions and all of those types of things, but at the same time also to be able to help yourself and get through tough times if needed. Next up, we've got the High Priestess. In the High Priestess, I can see a time of reflection on the points that we had just mentioned. So all of my beautiful karma number sixes, spending some time thinking about how it is that you have been blessed in your life in a way, and how it is that you have had a one-up in your life, but also think of the areas where you feel like you've been let down or where you feel like you've been made to struggle, and you would like to master and get to a happier spot, and then take action, make a plan. If you feel as though you've always led a very sheltered existence, maybe you need to travel, maybe you need to see the world if that hasn't been part of your existence. If you've felt as though you have been a little behind when it comes to finances, maybe your family isn't from a well-to-do background, that may actually reflect a lot in your ambition. It may make you a lot more ambitious than if you would have had everything served to you on a silver platter. I see here within King Neptune to honor your sensitivity, and also to not allow anyone to turn it into something that it's not, to turn it into your weak point or weak spot. Being a sensitive and caring person is definitely something that can very easily be hard to handle. Trust me, this comes from experience, karma number 6. I too am a June baby, so I completely understand how your sensitivity can sometimes feel like your biggest challenge. But do know here within King Neptune that because you are very susceptible to feeling energies in a room and feeling exactly what other people are going through, you can use that to your advantage. You can use that to tighten and strengthen bonds and friendships, and put yourself in positions where you can help others, and also allow for yourself to be a leader when it comes to these things, to be a leader that sets an amazing example of how you can help other human beings. I can see here within the Butterfly Maiden that you can create amazing change this way, and this is a message that you've meant to receive. I can see here in the Butterfly Maiden that you have this bigger job, this bigger task in your life. You have a big change that you're meant to leave on this planet during your lifetime, and it's a positive one. It is one of support, of success, but also care and sensitivity. You're meant to lead by example. I see here within the Baba Yaga that patience is definitely a virtue, and for you, all my beautiful karma number 6s, being patient and learning how to deal with your sensitivity is definitely something that will help you in the long run, but takes time to master. And honestly, karma number 6, this is one of the most frustrating things for me as well personally, because I am too very susceptible to other people's emotions and other people's words. It can be hard to just distance myself from whatever it is that they're saying, especially when you're dealing with rude people or people who are very judgmental and like to give unsolicited advice. But do know here that the more you are being put in these situations, the more you can actually learn how to handle them and for them to not phase you, but still not lose your sensitivity and your empathy and compassion towards the people who need it and towards the people who can really benefit from it, such as here in the dog. It may be literally, for example, your dog. If you have a dog just like mine who's very reactive and you have to deal with other dog owners with breeds that are typically more well behaved and they give you unsolicited advice, make snarky comments, and are literally just being unhelpful overall and kind of rude, then you have to remember what's most important, and that's that you take care of, in this example, your dog. Or a friend, a close friend and family member. If other people are telling you that, well, you just got to look out for yourself, you can't always help others, but you really know here within the dog, which is often a representation of a close friend or family member, that you do in your heart want to help this person, remind yourself that your loyalty and faithfulness is misplaced by serving too many people. You have to serve yourself and the people who are directly affected, not bystanders, not people who think that they know your situation, but they actually do not. Do understand here within the dog that as long as other people are not directly affected by what it is that you're doing, their opinions really don't matter, and you will learn with time and patience to not even pay second mind to it, and instead of that, to lead by good example, to lead by being kind, no matter what is being brought or thrown your way. I see here within the humpback whale that music is essential to your healing and well-being. Whether singing, playing an instrument, or listening, this is something that's important for your development spiritually, especially. I see that here in connectivity to the high priestess. So make music a bit more of an important part of your life. Make music a part of your existence where you can really kind of like tune in, relax, but also learn to bring yourself into a place where there's healing, where your well-being is at the epicenter. Next up, we've got the Queen of Diamonds. In the Queen of Diamonds, I see that you're a very caring, generous person, and in this lifetime, what needs to be revealed to you is your purpose of giving, of being charitable, of being philanthropic, and of reminding yourself here that we need people like you in power who don't just look out for themselves and their own well-being and for how high profile they can get, but who look out for a community. And that's a type of vibe that I get here with the dog as well. Next up, we've got the Five of Diamonds. So in the Five of Diamonds, do understand here that some of the changes in your life may end up being costly, but remember that this is an investment in yourself and you only have one life to live. So don't overthink investing in yourself when it comes to learning new skills, when it comes to investing into your mental health. These are not ways in which you're senselessly spending, but it's an investment in yourself and in your future. And of course, it's going to cost time and money. And rather than seeing it as an additional bill, see it as an investment into your future. So karma number 6, this is the second part of your prediction that I received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Thank you so much for being here, sharing this divine time and space with me. Leave a little dog emoji down below in the comment section if you made it to this point, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, karma number 7, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we figure out what fated messages were kept hidden from you until now. I'm so excited to get into your reading, karma number 7. Let's move into it. We've got Merlin, we've got Mau Lisa, as well as Pele. So I can see here within Pele that it's all about lighting your fire and allowing for yourself to do the things that you know light you up and make you feel like you're the center of the room. All of my karma number 7s. You're the type of person who can be very selfless, so it's important for you to sometimes feel a little selfish, or shall I say to learn the balance between being selfless and also doing things for yourself, things that light you up and nobody else. And This is definitely something that you can feel a little bit guilty about at times. For example, if in the media, people are always portraying parents, for example, as people who sacrifice every waking moment just for their children and never get to spend time doing the things that they love. Do know here that you're being called to do what works for you, because at the end of the day, you're the best parent. Just as an example, of course, we're not all parents here, but you are the best parent if you're in a good headspace. You are not doing anyone a favor if you're not lighting your own fire from time to time. And that goes for any situation. The whole parent situation was just an example, all of my karma number 7s. Do know here within Merlin that there is some cosmic knowledge that can be passed down to you whenever you are spending time in a space where you're feeling very creative, where you're feeling free and like you're just having a good time and like you don't have to look over your back or worry what anyone else may say or think or do. And the 4 of Cups here shows me that this is really alone time that you're meant to spend. These are some hidden messages that were kept away from you, maybe because you weren't quite ready to hear them yet, maybe because this will come or bring you to a realization that you have to walk this walk by yourself, and that may be painful and a little bit difficult to understand. But do know here in the 4 of Cups that you need to be the one who draws the line in the sand and says, up until this point, no further. I need alone time, I need time to myself, or I just simply want to take this little time off to do something that I want to do without needing to explain anything. The Queen of Coins shows me here that you are in full control over your finances, and if that is something that you're sharing with another person right now, I want you to take back balance and control. If finances is something that concerns you and part of that struggle is because you are not sure who you're dealing with your finances, you're not sure exactly if that person is trustworthy or if you're on the same page, detach yourself financially. The Queen of Coins is also someone who is all about independence, right? And just getting their sovereignty back. So if you are right now in a space where you don't have that, move out, give yourself your own bank account, open up your own bank account, deposit your own checks, have overview over your own savings and investments. Don't leave that up to another person. As I see here in the 5 of Swords, that will just create friction in the long run. And that friction is definitely something that won't help with your balance and will mentally just drain you and have you all over the place rather than focused on one thing. The King of Cups shows me that a great person to consult is someone who has their emotions under control, someone who is more or less pretty chill, as we have here in the King of Cups, someone who has this strong water sign energy, think Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancerian, and who can give you great life advice because they're older, they've lived through a lot of different situations. The 7 of Cups shows me here that a message that has been kept hidden from you up until now is that you've got options, karma number 7. You've got many options of who to hang out with, even if you sometimes feel like your circle is small or like you just have acquaintances and not that many real friends. Know here in the 7 of Cups that you're maybe not taking some of the options into account, like for example, hanging out more with old friends or family members that you haven't seen in a long time. Yeah, it may not feel like your circle is big because, well, it's family, right? They have to be in your circle, but it is part of your circle. It's part of your social life. Every person counts as an individual, and it's okay if you spend time with people who have to be in your circle anyways, or who by default are kind of part of who you have access towards. You don't always need new friends in order to keep things exciting, and you don't need a certain number of friends in order to feel comfortable or to feel like nothing is wrong with you. All of my karma number 7s, because I feel like there's definitely a lot of pressure to look as though you have a certain type of family or friend circle, and when that doesn't happen, it definitely can turn into fear, like, oh, am I not likable enough? Do people not want to hang out with me? Why does my friend circle look so different from other people's friend circle? And that's where you have to get creative with reminding yourself, hey, just because I'm maybe not making a new friend every single week, that doesn't mean that I don't already have quite a few people here that I maybe haven't spoken to in a long time that I can hit up again, give a phone call, send a little text message to, and reconnect by figuring out what's going on in that person's life and reminding them that you're here. And one thing that I also just want to point out for you, karma number 7, is that a lot of things online, of course, are just fabricated. A lot of friendships are even fabricated online. If you are fortunate enough to even have 2 or 3 real friends that you know you can truly count on outside of, say, family, that is definitely something that a lot of people wish that they had, that a lot of people are yearning for, and that already makes you a super fortunate person. It's better to have fewer people who you can really count on, or even just family or just that one person, than a whole group of people and still feel lonely or still be unsure as to whether they will have your back if you, for example, lose your job, if you didn't have any money, if you were struggling in your relationship, if you were struggling with your mental health, if you maybe weren't as attractive as you are, whatever it is that's going well in your life. If you're afraid that once that's gone, they wouldn't be your friend anymore, then you really need to ask yourself what the basis of those relationships are and whether it is a real friendship or not. And often we can even deepen friendships by bringing up these concerns to those people. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves that this is maybe not that deep of a friendship, so to not overthink it in the first place. So all of my beautiful karma number 7s, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed this 2-part approach and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section. Leave a little light bulb emoji in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, karma number 8, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we figure out all of the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now. Let's move straight into it. We've got the Moon, we've got the King of Cups, we've got the Knight of Coins, as well as the 6 of Wands. So all of my beautiful karma number 8s in the Moon and the King of Cups, you are being called to listen to your intuition and also to know that not everything is as it seems. That is why you're even being called to flex your intuitive muscles, because there are definitely some things here that are, how should I say, that seem to be one way but are not really that way when it comes down to the details. I see with the Knight of Coins that we've got someone who is pretending to be a little bit more put together, a little bit more wealthy, a little bit more educated than they really are, and that's why it's important that you listen to your intuition, especially if you've got a position at a job where you're, say, a CEO or a manager, you're hiring people, you're advising who is going to get hired and who isn't. Listen to that gut feeling, as I see here in the King of Cups and the Moon, that will really help you in your professional life. It's of course something you can't really explain, but make it known when you have a weird feeling about someone whose eyes seem to be bigger than their stomach, when you have a weird feeling about someone who's putting a little too much on their plate, if you know what I mean. Next up, in the 6 of Wands right over here, all of my beautiful karma number 8s, I can see that you will be victorious in a creative venture and something that you've put your heart and soul into, and this may be work related and kind of cause a little bit of friction here with the Knight of Coins. Not friction that is worrisome in any way, but more jealousy, if you will. So all of these cards popped upside down while I was shuffling for you, all of my beautiful karma number 8, so let's get into it. We've got the hidden path as well as the search. So I want you to know here that if you've been searching for purpose, if you've been searching for answers, as we have within here, you felt lost, confused, or lonely, the hidden path for you is all about the marriage of spirit and matter. Not feeling as though you have to completely neglect matter or earthly accomplishments in order to be spiritual or to find sense in the world. It's all about that intersection. It's all about that point where there's a marriage between the two things. Of course, in most societies and communities that we live in, you cannot live without funds. You cannot live with some sort of sense of materialism. So it's all about finding a good middle ground for yourself. And if you feel as though you can't do so, if you feel as though you must choose between either money or being a good or spiritual person, you will always live in a space of friction. That's a message you're meant to receive. The Nine of Hearts sees fulfillment, harmony, and protection for you. So despite us talking about some things that are a little difficult to stomach, karma number 8, you're definitely moving in the right direction. As I can see here within perception, that you're moving beyond the veil of illusion that's been set up in many different areas of your life and of your surroundings to keep you guessing, to keep you confined, and to keep you blinded, if you will. So your perception is changing, and you're going beyond the veil of illusion when it comes to capitalism, but also when it comes to spirituality, because a lot of people like to be gatekeepers in these communities, and I just have to call out my own community a little bit. And it's important for us to remember that the key thing is to allow space for everybody and to give people, of course, advice or our thoughts if they ask for them, but not to judge, because that is the most off-putting thing that you can do. I see here within the sacred Earth Mother that you're fully rooted in love, and there is definitely a message of love that's coming towards you. So it is important to be open to receive that message and to remind yourself here that if you're acting from a good place, that will be reciprocated to you, karma number 8. So even if you feel as though you're being mistreated or people aren't really seeing it, energy doesn't lie. And sometimes people like to say that they don't see that you're acting from a place of love, all because they're not acting from a place of love and they don't want to admit that they are unable to receive it or unable to just see it for what it is. In Persephone, I can see a new beginning, and this new beginning is coming when you find this perfect marriage for yourself between spirit and matter, this perfect area of knowing what you need physically and materially and what type of impact you'd like to have, maybe supporting businesses that are local, that are run by minorities, businesses that are sustainable, and also working hard so you can make decisions in businesses in the future, right? Because we can't just protest. We need to put ourselves in positions of power. There's no other way for corporations to make those decisions to pay fair wages or to go the more sustainable route, even if it costs more. At the end of the day, the business owners and the shareholders are making big decisions. And if you don't put yourself in that place, then you are, of course, losing out on the opportunity to make an impact beyond just, for example, protesting or putting out your opinion about these things, which it's all great, but don't feel as though you can't be career and work and money oriented just because you also want to be a good spiritual person. You can find that middle ground, all of my beautiful karma number 8s, and it can all go together beautifully. Next up, we've got King Neptune. Remember, you're a very sensitive person. You have really great perception of other people and their character, which is why it is important for you to actually stay really ambitious, determined, and to keep working towards goals, to keep putting yourself in situations where you can be a leader and you can occupy spaces in rooms that other people maybe didn't have access to in the past from your family or your heritage. It all matters. It's all meaningful. Let's not demonize things such as businesses and money. Let's put ourselves in positions where we can more equally distribute it and make sure that there is more inclusivity and love. And I see that you're meant to be one of the people who spearheads that. You're meant to be one of the people who sees that there can be an amazing middle ground of spirituality as well as matter. All my beautiful karma number 8s, thank you so much for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me. Let me know down below in the comment section how you like this special 2-part prediction, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, karma number 9, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we figure out exactly what fated messages were kept hidden from you until now. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Karma number 9. Ooh, we've got the Magician, the King of Wands, as well as the Eight of Coins. We've got a lot of fiery energy, not just because we've got the King of Wands, which is the king of fire signs. So think strong placements in Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. But we also have the Magician, which corresponds to the number 1 of the major arcana in the tarot. The number 1 in numerology is known as a number of leadership and doing things by yourself, not being afraid to stand out, not being afraid to use all of your natural talents and gifts in order to make yourself stand out positively and to get to where you're trying to go professionally speaking. Maybe you're someone who's very charismatic and you're really great when it comes to communicating with other coworkers, listening to people, making them feel heard. Maybe you're a very creative person and you work well in a field where you're just being left to finish a project and you just present the whole thing rather than having someone look over your shoulder every step of the way. I see here within the Eight of Coins and the Magician that this is definitely an area of your life that you can add a little bit more energy into. These are very phallic symbols, which means masculine symbols, so adding more masculine energy into your little hidden or known talents is what you need to do right now. I see here within Merlin that there's most likely also going to be some cosmic knowledge that's shared with you. Pay attention to the different moon phases. Pay attention to how you feel during new and full moons, because you may actually get the best ideas on how you can innovate, how you can spend more time doing what you're really good at professionally during those times of the month. Next up, we've got King Neptune. Your sensitivity is meant to be honored. All of my beautiful karma number 9s, so don't see it as a weakness at all. And try to make use of your sensitivity. Try to use it in order to read people before a situation even gets difficult or complicated. You may have often felt like, oh, great, I'm this sensitive person, and because of that, everybody's energy affects me. Because of that, when people say mean things or they're judgmental people, it affects me for a long time. But do know here within King Neptune that you can actually be ahead of the game through your sensitivity. So rather than even letting things get to that point where they agitate you, annoy you, or bother you, you can already read the situation beforehand. You can already pick out potentially problematic people off of their energy, based off of their facial expression, their body language towards you, and not even put yourself in a situation with them where you might have to deal with the repercussions. And that's where in Hod, you're being told this faded message right now of telling the truth. Don't be afraid to say, for example, that you don't want to work with a certain person, either in school or, for example, at your job. Make it known if you don't want to do a project with someone. You don't have to say, I don't want to do a project with you because I think your energy is bad, but you can just tell them, hey, I would feel more comfortable if I did this project alone, or if I did it in a different group. You can make up like a little excuse so that you don't hurt their feelings, but I can definitely see here within Hod that just telling the truth needs to happen in order for you to protect yourself and live your best life being such a sensitive person. Next up, we've got Epona, and in Epona, I can see earth magic being a great way for you to regain energy, and also wearing flowy clothes that allow you to just chill and relax. Going to places where you can do so that would maybe not necessarily be a major city, but more in the nature, spending time doing some road trips or getaways where you don't feel like you have to conform to what, for example, a city's standards would be, which is maybe uncomfortable shoes with heels or tight-fitting clothes and suits. I can see in Imhotep that you are a visionary. You are the type of person who is very clairvoyant, and if you haven't discovered that yet, do know that we've got this cosmic knowledge and Merlin that's coming towards you, so you may start to notice that sooner rather than later. You're the type of person who can see things way ahead of time, and it's almost like you experience a lot of deja vus in your day-to-day life where something happens and you're like, wait, I feel like I've already experienced this. I feel like I've already gone through this. And that is where I see in Imhotep that this is something you should should pay attention to and not fear. The Eight of Swords shows me that sometimes that makes you afraid. Sometimes you are worried that you are going through some sort of strange thing, that you're a little bit crazy, or that for some reason you're receiving information here that is not yours, that is wrongfully being sent to you. Why do you have these feelings of remembering something that's only actually physically happening for the first time and now? And it seems weird for you to explain this. It seems like a weird situation overall, but I see here within the Justice card that you're definitely a person who has a lot more to them than they let on immediately, and you may not even know yourself in all your depths, all my karma number 9s. I would definitely also recommend for you that you try things such as hypnosis. You may find that there are some past life regressions that you can step into there. Try to find a very credible hypnotherapist, because even if nothing comes up when you're put into hypnosis, it can still be a really healing, therapeutic experience. There are a lot of people who struggle with anxiety and stress, burnout, and addictions who go to hypnotherapists in order to help them cope. So either way, even if you don't have a clairvoyant or clairaudient experience in these sessions, do know that it's going to be great for you either way, and also to keep it going, to not give up. Certain times of the month and the year you may be more connected, and other times you may be a little more far removed from the universe and a little bit more in your head. All of my beautiful karma number 9s, this is the second part to your prediction that I've received for you. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section. Leave a little horse emoji down there to let me and others know that you're a karma number 9 and that you were here till the end. Thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful karma number 10s, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we figure out more details about the fated messages that were kept hidden from you until now. Let's move straight into it. Karma number 10, we've got Judgment, the Nine of Swords, as well as the Knave of Coins. So in Judgment and the Nine of Swords, I can see that you're worrying way too much about what others think of you, and you can definitely benefit from living your life in a more carefree manner. And to remind yourself here within the Knave of Coins that if you're doing the best that you can, that's all that matters. And if someone else has an opinion about it, let them have an opinion. Karma number 10. It is not your responsibility to make others feel comfortable or good, or to tell them your life story if they are already committed to misunderstanding you. It is not your responsibility to stress over things that are out of your control, especially when they're coming from other people who are not stressing about how you feel about them. Next up, we've got the Search. In the Search, I can see here that a fated message that was kept hidden from you until now is that the more that you allow yourself to simply not overthink other people's opinions and other people's things that they may be saying to you or about you, the less you will actually feel lost or confused or lonely, because the more you give that energy, the more you ask yourself, oh, am I doing the right thing? The more you really do start to overthink your actions and strip away from your confidence. Would you want to give someone who has decided to misunderstand you or decided to stereotype you, would you really want to give them the satisfaction of knowing that they have affected your confidence, that because they have put this stereotype out there about you, that you are actually now acting in line with that because of that? No, all of my karma number 10s. You don't need to give in to that. Remind yourself here that healing is sometimes triggered by difficult situations where you are confronted with overthinking, you are confronted with judgment by others. But what is so hard about this situation is often not necessarily their judgment, but more how you deal with the judgment, more your insecurities that were already there that are being highlighted through these situations. And you have to learn to reconnect with your true nature in those moments, and to remind yourself that your word is just as good as anyone else's, and you are mentally just as sane and just as credible as anyone else. Yes, we have people in this world who are a little bit too confident for their own good, who think that they know everything and they know it better, who feel like they can do no wrong. And those are actually the people you should watch out for, because the fact that you are able to reflect on your actions, you're able to be self-aware enough to ask yourself, am I actually right in this situation? You already know you're doing the right thing, karma number 10. Don't overthink everything that you do. I see here within the purification card, which actually connects to fire, that it's important for you to just strip down everything to the naked truth. And by stripping down everything, I mean, if you're in a situation of heartache, where you're in a situation where emotions have run high, just strip down the argument, the confrontation, or the discussion to what is the bare minimum. Like, what is really the issue here? Is the issue, for example, not liking how someone is speaking to you? A certain amount of work isn't being done in a timely manner, but people are starting to argue about things that don't even have anything to do with it? Is the issue that you're not getting the attention that you want from a lover, and that ends up in a quarrel? But the core isn't everything that you've been arguing about. Sometimes you can even forget what the core issue is, right? Sometimes you can even forget the naked truth because you're so deep into an argument. So come back to it always. That can really anchor you in trying to be solution oriented rather than spiraling into an unnecessary confrontation. I see here within the strength card that actually shows true strength and true resilience and confidence. When you are strong enough to put yourself into a situation where you're being reminded constantly by your psyche of the naked truth. You're being reminded constantly that there's no reason in getting angry or emotional in situations you can't control, but what there is sense in is focusing on the truth, is focusing on what everybody is actually trying to accomplish, and also understanding the other person rather than trying to be understood. That is true strength, when you feel as though you don't have to justify yourself. And that's what I see you're working towards, and that's a message you were meant to receive. You were dealing with other things before, which is why you're only receiving this right now and why you're meant to receive it now, because I can see now within the sun, you're actually in a place in your life where you have the strength to focus on this resilience and building your self-confidence to the point where you don't ask yourself, was that person actually right who judged me? No. You understand that it is completely wrong to judge another person who you know nothing about or to make them feel bad, and you are in no way going to blame the victim, which in this instance I can see you are more often the one who has a lot of capacity to self-reflect, and some narcissists and people who just want to argue may prey on exactly that because they see that in you. They see that in your vibe. I see in the 9 of Pentacles, all of my karma number 10s, that when it comes to your professional life, just chill, take a step back. I see that you're reaching a new goal pretty soon. And by taking a step back, I don't mean go on a vacation, but keep doing what you were doing and try not to stress about bills, for example, or about what is next in the future. Wake up and take each day as, an individual time and situation for you to do your best. That's really the only way for you to move forward successfully. As I see here in the 10 of Wands, that overthinking is really like your biggest challenge. It's the thing you have to learn to overcome, to deal with, to handle in order for you to not succumb to feeling a judgment from yourself or from others, and that then in turn reflecting your actions and your energy levels. So all of my beautiful karma number 10s, this is the second part of your prediction that you were meant to receive. I hope that you found this insightful. Make sure you leave a little sunflower emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here. Thank you so much for being here and spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, all my beautiful karma number 11s, and welcome to the second and even more personalized part of your prediction, where we get into even more details about the fated messages that were kept hidden from you. until now. Karma number 11, we've got rejection, intuition, and faith. So karma number 11, I want you to use your intuition in order to avoid unnecessary hurt and rejection. That is a message you're meant to receive. You're a highly intuitive being, and your gut feeling is definitely something that doesn't lead you astray as often as other karma numbers. Of course, your gut feeling can sometimes lead you in a direction that you didn't expect in order to teach you a lesson, but I can definitely see here that the more you listen to it, the less you will have unnecessary rejection in your life. The more you listen to the vibes that you get, for example, from a lover who's hot and cold, and the more you kind of like avoid situations that feel not quite right, the less you will actually have things show up that hurt your self-confidence. And I see within faith that it's important for you to keep your circle small. Keep a group of people who are truly close to you, who really have your back. Keep them close at all times, and know here in the Two of Swords that this is another card, actually this time of the tarot, not an oracle deck, telling you that your situation cannot be predetermined. You have to go and make these decisions based on your gut feeling and your instinct. Your hands as well as your eyes are tied. You can't wait for information or confirmation before you do something. Just as investing in stocks, you don't know beforehand whether it will be successful. You don't know before you try switching jobs whether you will actually be able to find something better. You just can't say that before these big, difficult life decisions, which is where you're being called to go with that gut feeling of yours. The Four of Cups shows me here that for all of my karma number 11s, that is of course not what you want to hear, but I need to be honest with you. There is a reason why you're here watching this reading, and first and foremost, I am an honest reader. I'm never just going to tell you what you want to hear. I am here to tell you what messages that we're receiving for you specifically, and sometimes the messages are not necessarily everything that you want. And I see here within the Seven of Pentacles that actually your professional life could really benefit from you slowing down a little bit and asking yourself what you want in the long run before you make any hasty decisions. And furthermore, in the meantime, other big decisions in your life should be made intuitively and should be made from a standpoint of keeping things moving rather than waiting for time to pass by. Then the opportunity has come and gone. And yeah, maybe of course, if you don't invest in the stocks and you wait for a couple months, you may say to yourself, oh yeah, that would have been great because those stocks actually went up, or I should have invested in that piece of real estate because its price actually went up or remained stable. But if you didn't do it, it doesn't really matter, all of my beautiful karma number 11s, which is why you can't wait for it to transpire, because then the moment has come and gone. You have to act. I see here within the Seven of Swords that you should beware of people who are trying to kind of get in on what you've got going for yourself professionally without putting in the work. So look out for work colleagues as well who kind of take credit where credit isn't really due for them, but credit would be due for you. If they do it with small things, they'll surely do it with big things. Karma number 11. And know here within the Night Wind that you may have to face that fear of also confronting someone who is taking credit for something that they didn't do, that you actually did. And this will be a subconscious release. This will make you feel like, okay, I'm healing. I'm doing something that's good for myself here. But it will also be you facing a fear because, of course, nobody wants to be that person telling someone else to kind of manifest their own success rather than munching off of yours. We've got perception, seeing beyond the veil of illusion. This message was meant to reach you, all of my karma number 11s, because just as you're being called to listen to your gut feeling with big life decisions, you're being called to do the same in situations of an illusion. Like if you look at systems in our society, whether it be a healthcare system, a retirement system, and you have this weird feeling like, is this really set up to benefit everybody? Is this really set up in the best way possible? While a lot of people in these systems and in governments have great intentions, there are also people who do not have the best intentions, who are setting things up more like a business than something that's really meant to serve people. And that's where I see in perception that you're seeing beyond the veil of illusion that a lot of people are trying to put out there, but you can see their true colors. I see here within thinking of you that someone is putting some loving energy towards you. They've got a loving thought about you. They're wishing you nothing but serendipity and amazing success. And this person may be an old friend who you haven't caught up with in a very long time. And all of my beautiful karma number 11s, it's really time for you to call them up, to send them that text, to ask them what's going on in their life, because there are some loving thoughts that they're putting towards you without expecting anything in return, just really wanting and wishing for you to win and live your best life. Next up, we've got the mountain goat. In the mountain goat, there's something out of balance in your life, so you need to do whatever you need to do to correct it. And that out of balance situation could even mean that you have to see beyond the veil of illusion of you maybe supporting a corporation that is not in alignment with your values or what you want to see on this planet. Like, for example, I was under the impression that brands and, very big corporations, I'm not talking about little brands, I'm talking about big corporations, would do the right thing, be it in fast fashion, be it in, for example, medicine and research, but often it is just very profit driven, and often people do more talking than walking, which is where you have to remind yourself that you need to sometimes be the one just removing yourself out of a situation when someone has proven over and over again to be a great talker but not so much of a walker. I can see here within the elk, also known as the wapiti, that you are being called to stand tall and maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect that you deserve. Often it's really just a matter of like bluffing. In a lot of situations, all of my karma number 11s, people may underestimate you because they're stereotyping you. Maybe because you are a woman, maybe because you're a person of color, maybe because, you do identify or look like a male, but maybe they just look at you and they think, oh, this person is going to be some easy lunch for me. This person is someone I can boss around or push around. And in the elk, it's really all about you standing tall, maintaining your dignity, and reminding yourself here that a lot of people like that actually don't have a lot of confidence, and they're deliberately looking for people to push around. So of course, you're not out for, say, a physical altercation or anything like that, but still, like, stand tall, put your shoulders back, like lift your head high, show that you will stay in your space, that you belong here, and you're not going to be pushed or shoved around by another person who simply feels like it, or who has been dealt an easier card in society and in life and doesn't even know you or know what you're going through on a daily basis. And you're not going to let anyone oppress you or make you feel like you're a doormat whatsoever, even if that person is bigger or has more financial access or is someone who overall is seen as a leader in society. If they're doing something that only a bully would do that is wrong, well, there are a lot of people who are in positions of power who do that. And I see in perception, you're looking beyond the veil of illusion. You're not letting anyone get away with things they shouldn't be getting away with. And karma number 11, that is really commendable. That's really something you should be proud of, and stand up for not only other people and people who can't stand up for themselves in all situations or who are already down. Also use this energy to stand up for you. So all of my beautiful karma number 11s, this is the second part of your prediction that you were meant to receive right now for a reason. I hope that you found it insightful and helpful, and that you can appreciate my honesty. Thank you so much for being here and for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions.